Hello there, Andy Conduit-Turner, dropping in at the start of this episode of the Horror Hangout. We're on location for this episode, so a little different to what you'd usually hear. You're going to hear background noise, you're going to hear us talking to various people, you're going to hear us over the course of 5 whole days of FrightFest, meeting people, greeting people, talking about movies. We're in the wild streets of London if the mics are picking this up, so things are going to be crazy. It's a little different. Please bear with us on variable sound quality and listening experience. If you are listening to this on the audio, while we love both platforms, most of our listens come from the podcast versus the video version on YouTube, but this is one version, one episode. And I really would suggest watching the video of. You get to see all the wonderful people we've met. It's been really exciting. So then I'll put this in at the start of the episode, and then I'll be back in this same outfit to do the wrap-up with him. It's the last thing we're recording, so I'll see you on the other side, everybody. Enjoy the episode.
Welcome to the Horror Hangout. This is a podcast where film fans watch the best and worst horror movies of all time. Hopefully the best. I'm hoping the worst aren't there.
I'm rocking up this weekend. In case you can't tell, look, we're in the same physical space. We are live in London.
In the same vicinity. I can touch Andy if I so need to, with consent, of course. I can smell Andy without consent. Don't tell him I'm doing that behind his back. But here we are. We're live in London, ready to... I mean, in mere minutes, we're going to be leaving the place we're staying and getting ourselves to Leicester Square for FrightFest to watch the opening film.
And stunning surroundings. Well, look, they were very kind to leave.
Look at these chairs!
Frost Nixon chairs for us to... I don't know what Luke's going to do when he gets here. Luke arrives tomorrow, everybody. You may see him in some of the video later.
So obviously this full podcast, this full episode is going to be essentially like us documenting the whole experience from start to finish. It's Thursday, the 24th of August, currently.
Yeah,
Luke's going to be here. I feel incredibly comfortable in these chairs. I feel like we had to invest in
some of these for our own podcasting studio at Horror Hangout Tower.
We're in like extremely 70s surroundings, aren't we?
Yeah, beautiful though.
It is beautiful. There's like what kind of sofa? An L-shaped sofa. I was going to say a chaise longue.
L-shaped seating. Amenity there. You've got lovely ensuite bathrooms.
Maybe we should do some sort of tour at some point because it is lovely. It's lovely settings. It could be the set of a horror movie. To be fair, a 70s set horror movie. Obviously, I don't wish that upon anybody. I hope nothing bad happens.
Obviously, ruin this stylish decor, but. But yeah, this is just a mere setting where you might see us here a few times when we're recording. We're going to try and do some wrap-ups after every day. So today is Thursday. So as Ben mentioned, in just a short time, probably about 20 minutes or so, we're going to head out the front door. We're going to head ourselves down to Leicester Square Theatre. And we're going to get ready for the opening film.
The opening film on the opening day of our first ever FrightFest. We've never attended. Obviously, we've covered the film festival from afar. And we've been covering this one prior to the festival as well, but for the first time we're going to be there in public, in person, in the flesh, the suitable flesh, which is the opening movie with that's the best segue. That's the best segue. I'm going to say the best segue of the whole podcast so far with Heather Grainer herself. I don't know if she's actually attending, but imagine if she was.
We don't know the seat allocations. We could be sat next to her. Quite close to the front row. I imagine a celebrity of that.
Yeah, that's true.
Get somewhere in the back near the middle.
So in the main screen, we are quite close to the front row. So if anybody, I don't know, not just major names, but anyone involved in these films is going to be here at these screenings. We're going to be merely a stone's throw away.
Yeah,
a throne's stow away. I nearly said that. We could throw popcorn. Probably don't get popcorn, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean that much. You're going to get the podge by the end of the weekend if you're having popcorn on the first screening. You're going to be bloated. You're going to be egg bound. You're going to be.
It's true. It's true. It is. But we're excited. We're looking forward to it. Obviously, it's going to be great to see people. They're guests of the show who have been on previous episodes.
Former guests, former interviewees, maybe some future guests and interviewees.
Definitely some future guests. So we've got like a list, arm's length of people to meet and hang out with. Come and say hello to us, of course. I'm saying that before this podcast is going out after the event.
So I hope that by the time you've seen this, you did see us.
Yeah,
we have mentioned it before.
Otherwise, you feel bad.
And you've seen us. If you are listening to this, I was there and I didn't go and say hello to them, but I'm listening to this now, and now I'm lamenting my life choices. Come and see us next time. That's all right.
We've got tiny little microphones as well, which of course we will be using. Kind of a funny story is that when I ordered these from Amazon, I thought that they may be big ones.
We were gonna get like a little. We were gonna get like a big cube that said the Horror Hangout logo.
Yeah.
On there.
And if you listen to this audio only, they are tiny, tiny little miniature borrower microphones.
Yeah, like-
Obviously, they're just lapel microphones, but for some reason, when I ordered them, the way they looked, I was like, oh, have we got like a big microphone for when we're on the media wall? That'd be great, but they're tiny. And me, being me, full, that'd do.
I mean, you mustn't waste anything.
That's true.
Yeah. So we're ready. We'll be out there with our tiny little Barbie microphones.
Yeah.
Obviously the Barbie podcasting set. So we will be there.
What we got down for day one? So obviously we'll try and do some wrap ups. We'll try and do some interviews with filmmakers like around about the time we can. But we're just going to be chatting to anyone we can. So this might be a longer episode than usual.
Might be short. Who knows?
Maybe it's going to be 2 parts. Oh, that's unprecedented.
Episode 99, 299, and 300, the FrightFest extravaganza.
Wow.
Who
Exactly.
knows? We'll see how much footage we get, everyone. But it's opening night tonight, so not a full day of festivities. But we do still have a couple of things going on this evening. So the aforementioned Heather Graham vehicle and H.P. Lovecraft story. It's on part 1 of our preview document that we put out as well. We're going to do our best to see as many as we can between the screeners that lots of the marketing teams have been kind enough to send us in advance to whatever we can catch. Sometimes all together as a duo or trio once Luke arrives. Sometimes split the party a little bit to get maximum coverage. Aren't we nice to you?
Don't they say, though, to never split up? I know they always say in horror movies. But...
Yeah, in horror movies. But I think when you're experiencing horror movies...
And you're experienced enough in horror movies.
Yeah. I think if you've got the chops for it, I think you can absolutely be bold enough to split, because it's about doing a different thing. That's what independent cinema is about.
Yeah,
making different choices.
Exactly.
So it begins with Heather Graham starring H.P. Lovecraft inspired / original short story by Suitable Flesh this evening. That is opening the festival. We will be at that front and center.
Front and center. I think we're actually 1 row from the front and not very central at all. But I know what you mean.
Yeah, we'll be there. I mean, it's convenient for getting out to the bathroom, I'm sure. But that's where we're going to be to begin with. This isn't a film we've already seen, so it'll be our first watching as well as a premiere to start off.
Yeah.
I think we will give you our thoughts on that when we do a wrap up tomorrow. After that, we have a couple of options. Now, earlier in the year, or was it last year's FrightFest that we had before?
Last year's FrightFest was fall, wasn't it? Yeah.
Was fall.
Yeah.
A film about going up dead high and possibly falling off.
Possibly.
This year, taking that theme and reversing it, they're going deep in the sea.
Oh, that's just as bad, going deep in the sea.
Yeah,
so worse,
again in our preview document, The Dive, about a pair of women stuck underwater in immense peril. It's one I'm going to have to miss from the main screening, though, because I think we're both
going to watch this next film, yes.
We're heading off to see Punch. So Andy Edwards, you would have heard him an interview with me earlier this year from FrightFest Glasgow, where we were talking about the section he directed in the film Midnight Peep Show. That was his part of an anthology, a seaside slasher movie that he's written called Punch. For those of you in the UK, everyone knows who Mr. Punch is. He's a rite of passage showing up for our overseas listeners, though. If Mr. Punch doesn't,
just a big abuser.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, he's an egalitarian abuser in that effect. He doesn't just
that's true.
Punch members of his family. He also punches animals like crocodiles. He's a bad boy, basically. A policeman. Yeah.
A policeman. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so he's a bad man, and in this film, he's an ever such bad man. And there's a young girl taking a night out in a seaside town before she moves away to university, and we're gonna get a classic British seaside slasher.
Yeah,
easy for me to say. And when I met Andy talking about the Midnight Peep Show, this was something that he was passionate about making at the time. So, no brainer for me to get on this one. We'll hopefully catch up with Andy while we're here.
Yeah, we're hopefully going to catch up with him as well to chat about the movie, and obviously we'll do some sort of reaction to that as well. And then finally, I'm not 100% sure if we're going to be at this screening, but the movie Cheat is shown in the main screen as well, but quite late, isn't it?
Main screen just before 11 o'clock tonight, or if you were so inclined at 10:40 on the Discovery screen, you could see Law as well, which is another anthology piece.
Yeah. I think
Both of these
we're going to
films-
chat about that because you've seen it. haven't
Yeah,
you, Laura?
both of these films, Cheat and Law, we've seen. We've managed to catch some screeners for, so always good to see these things as an audience if we get a chance. But
Yeah.
we can flip a coin and decide which way we're going to go at the end of the day. Not safe in the knowledge we're not going to miss out on anything.
Yeah.
Of the two, for those of you, if you're catching up on this later, so Law is an anthology piece. We love an anthology over here. We recently covered Creepshow 2 on a recent episode. Similar vibes, right? There's a group of scare chasing friends that do escape rooms and horror experiences, looking for the most extreme horror experience they can. They go out to the woods where a mysterious stranger
On the
greets them,
bloody woods.
and then they'll take some time swapping some ghost stories. Features a lot of British cast members. Rufus Hound, for those of you that follow some
Oh, really?
comedy, if you watched Celebrity Juice back in the day, you get to see Rufus Hound running around a hotel in his pants, running away from a
Nice.
dangerous cult. Andrew Lee Potts is in this as well. Some of you may remember from ITV's Primeval, which was X-Files but dinosaurs.
Oh my god, yeah, I do remember that.
My
X-Files but dinosaurs.
my prevailing memory of Andrew Lee Potts is, I don't know where we acquired Primeval stickers from, but we were at a friend's 21st birthday party, and there was a trifle that no one really liked the look of. But we had some Andrew Lee Potts Primeval stickers.
This
Me
is
and
a
my friend
sentence that
played, like, a
nobody's ever
game-
said before.
I know. We played a bit of our own game of like Buckaroo. We had been drinking. It was a 21st birthday party. And we tried very carefully to slide the Andrew Lee Potts stickers into the trifle without breaking the surface.
That's a pretty good game. Does anyone
after we-
choke and die?
Well, after we completed that round of the game, we did exaggerate to other things people had in their pockets. So
Change,
coins,
loose
condoms.
change. Condoms.
And then towards the end of the party, an uncle came over. What was going to eat this trifle? I'll take that home then.
He's a good home.
I've never seen him again.
Never seen him again.
I wouldn't. He's not a member of my family, but
Yeah, that's true.
if you're out there and now you've become a horror movie fan, I'm sorry that we ruined that trifle. for you,
Imagine
sir.
he consumed it all without really checking, and then they checked his checked his stool.
Yeah, he had a bad tummy, and he was like, "Picture Andrew Lee Potts in it," and they X-rayed him. That's not what the film's about. There are some fun, very
I like that as
British,
a concept of the film.
yeah, it's a nice little bit of an anthology film. It's a good lot of fun. I like an anthology because even if there's a story you don't gel with, guess what? There'll be another one.
There'll be
along in a
another one
minute.
along in a minute. I guess what we'll do is we'll try and do a bit of a roundup thing at the end of the day, and also talk about the films that we've seen on screeners that were also shown the same day. If that
Yeah.
makes sense. Keep everything to the same day, and then we'll try and break the podcast up into sections by day, I guess.
Yeah.
That probably makes sense. But yeah, we're looking forward to it. Very excited.
Yeah. On that note, we will leave you here for now, everybody. I mean, for you, the listener or the viewer, the transition will be seamless. I'm not even sure it's gonna
The
put a
transition will be
stream like it.
absolutely seamless. Maybe we'll even we could have a jingle. We probably won't have a jingle, but
Just maybe a snippet of the theme.
just maybe a snippet of the jingle. Yeah, that's a good idea. I like that idea.
We'll work on that. In the meantime, I will pass over to future Ben and Andy.
Oh, we're doing it like that, are we?
On the red carpet.
Get
Over to
yourselves
you.
onto the red carpet. See you later. Bye.
Bye. So here we are at FrightFest, and with Andy Edwards, director of Punch, which we just stepped out from watching the world premiere of. Andy, how did you feel seeing it up there?
Yeah, it's a big screen.
It's very big.
quite nerve-wracking for a little indie, low-budget movie shot on the south coast of England to be on a screen that size. It's daunting.
But it was amazing. I certainly enjoyed it. Not just saying that because you're standing here.
Thank you.
And I heard you talk at the Q&A afterwards. We're hoping this is the beginning of a British slasher boogeyman franchise, right?
That is the plan. You know, we don't really have one here. We don't have your Freddy or your Jason, and Mr. Punch is going to be the one. Hopefully, hopefully this will do well, and we'll get to do Punch 2, Punch 3, Punch 4, and take him out.
Optimally, for any franchise, what's your space number?
Number 10, of course.
10. Punch X.
So Punch X, Mars Attacks.
Yeah.
A crazy tech billionaire takes a bunch of colonists to Mars, but there's a stowaway. Mr. Punch.
She's back again.
Oh yeah.
No. really enjoyable film. You've heard that it's going to be streaming sort of early 2024. Hopefully.
Yeah, early next year, hopefully, yeah, for streaming.
Wonderful. Well, watch this space, everyone. We will no doubt be shouting about it. And I think we've talked about in previous ones. We're getting a lot of folks from around here on actual episodes to chat film with us. So you have to come and join us.
Yeah,
if you're
definitely.
available. Come and do a full film. But Andy Edwards, thank you so much. We'll keep watching this space. Look out for more. Thank you very much, man. Thank you.
Alina Allison plays Frankie in Punch, which you've just seen on the big screen, which was amazing. What was it like sitting on the big screen with everybody reacting and seeing your performance huge on like the biggest screen I've
ever seen?
I've
Ever
never
screen?
seen. I've never seen the screen that big.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
It was really cool. I mean, I was really scared prior. I didn't invite anyone here.
Oh.
Just because I was really scared and I was really nervous that I didn't want anyone to come.
Do you regret that?
No,
Do you
yes,
regret
I
that
really
decision?
regret this decision. It's a very good film. But I was up at the balcony, so I didn't
Wow, you could see the.
I didn't get to see
everyone's
everyone
reaction.
else's reactions. No, because it was hidden away.
It was great though. I mean, and a great scream queen performance. I think. Walk and talk.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Firing away.
Another question: how do you think Mr. Punch compares to other slasher icons? I mean, he is terrifying. He's got an absolutely terrifying voice, of course.
I think it's very different.
Yeah.
But it's quite. That's a very tricky question because I haven't seen all the slasher horror films.
Oh,
But-
do you have a favorite then?
Purge,
The Purge. Okay,
Or
there's lots of
Scream.
Purge films. Which
Yeah.
one in particular?
the original.
Okay, yeah, original's best.
Original's best, always best. I liked it. I liked Mr. Punch.
Yeah.
I think that he was, and I really liked the concept at the end, Punch and Judy, and like you really got that kind of vibe that it was
Yeah.
a cult horror.
100%.
You know?
Yeah. It's a really great slasher film, a really iconic villain, and of course a great scream queen performance as well. Very, very. I want to say hysterical, but in the best
It was
possible way.
hysterical though. It
But
was
in a great way.
crazy hysterical. Like, calm.
What kind of direction did you get from? what kind of
More hysterical.
what kind of direction did you get from Andy, like in terms of that performance, or did it all come from you? Did it come from a
No,
place?
it was kind of like, okay, what would I be in that situation? What would I do in that situation? What would Frankie do? You know, then I met her halfway, and then I was kind of like, I would absolutely, you know,
Lose it.
lose my.
Yeah.
I don't know if I
But
can
most
say
of the time, when you see a scream queen performance, they usually like behave in a way where you're like under pressure. Most people wouldn't do that, but I felt like you brought
Was it
something
real?
to it.
Do you
Yeah, it
think?
felt really
Oh,
real.
thank you.
It felt incredibly real.
Did you think that too?
Yeah.
Really?
That's good. That's just...
So
It's
I
not bad.
mean, I haven't seen it, and I shot
this-
it last year. This is the first.
So this is the first time you saw it. Wow. Okay. So how did that feel? Did it almost feel like if you see a performance of yourself from like a year ago, are you more critical of that
very,
performance?
very critical. But then also you've got to put it to bed. You know, like I did that last year, and I had fun, and everyone. I think the filming of it and everyone that was involved in there just did an amazing job. It can't just,
Yeah.
you know, what was me.
It was like a very accomplished film, and it was great to see it on the big screen. So congratulations, and thank you so much for cheersing the cheers, little mics.
Hello again. So I'm here following the Punch premiere with Faye Campbell, member of the Punch cast.
Yeah.
Ben already posed the question. What was it like just now seeing yourself dying a night?
I was so excited to see my death because we were meant to do it all in one night when we were shooting it, but it was actually snowing, and we were like, I'll actually get hypothermia if I go. So we did pickup shots later in November, quite a few months later. So I was unsure how it was going to get put together, and I've never done a death scene before. So that was my favourite thing to do anyway, in general.
I think today we're going to see you in more.
Yeah, hopefully I can do more horror. I love thrillers, particularly. Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing more death scenes. Yeah.
And no spoilers, obviously. Everyone who listens will be able to watch this in the coming months as it comes in.
Yeah.
It comes on other services in the new year.
Yeah, streaming in the new year, yeah.
Amazing. Well, watch this space. We will be talking about it on the show, obviously. But thank you so much.
Thank
Enjoy the
you.
rest of your festival.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thanks.
I'm here with Mr. Mark Sayce himself, one of the people behind Punch, which we just watched the world premiere of here at FrightFest. Mark, how was your experience making Punch?
Well, making Punch was it was a really interesting experience. I came on as the fight choreographer and the action director, and then I was also told I was going to be doing the Punch character. At first, it was just more as a doubling thing,
Yeah.
but as I put more and more character into the role with my physicality and the voice as well, they also opted to use my voice, which was manipulated as well, but it turned out to be a full-on role for me, and obviously I got my ice cream man role at the beginning, and I shouldn't be saying any of that as well, because this guy, he's not even invited. I don't even know who this guy is. He's just so good at stealing my bloody thunder. No, yeah, kind of true.
And then we heard in the Q&A that you're returning to bring some more violence to the 100-Acre Wood.
I am, yeah. So I thought, like, coordinating Winnie the Pooh with a chainsaw was just on my bucket list. Obviously, a crazy show. Fantastic Carson crew on Punch. It was just an absolute pleasure working with this sort of team, and just having so much fun with the character and just bringing the character to life. And I would love to see a sequel.
Yeah, hopefully the first of many, we hope.
Yeah, well, we've been talking Punch in space. We've been talking,
the
Punch.
Down Under we got from the
Yeah, Punch Down Under, Punch in Ibiza, Punch Undead, Zombie Punch, Punch versus Werewolves, Punch versus Winnie the Pooh is my personal favourite.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Mark. We'll let you go and get yourself a well-earned drink after the
Q&A. No, it's an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much. Cheers, Mark.
Enjoying this FrightFest. FrightFest booklet. It smells good.
It does.
The paper merchants have done really well.
It's quality paper. It's a good GSM.
It's a good GSM, and there's absolutely loads of these at FrightFest all over the event, on the seats, piles of them everywhere. I feel like they printed too many; they can't get enough. Okay, so this is we're going to round up day one. Day one.
Thursday at FrightFest. We bloody did it, Ben.
We bloody did it. Thursday at FlightFest.
So yeah, currently peek behind the curtain just after 1 a.m. We're back from first day of screenings.
We sure are.
At this point, I guess you will have heard some interviews with the cast and crew of Punch. That was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, exactly. Obviously, there are less films on today than like full days, so we only saw 2 today.
Yeah,
but we got a chance to talk to the cast and crew of Punch, which was fun, which was great. Everyone was lovely.
And the reason we stopped it at 2 is we did neglect, again, peek behind the curtain here, we neglected to build any time to eat anything. So
this is the thing, there's so much time to actually watch movies that actually sustenance became
secondary, but thankfully, because of the good folks in the marketing teams that helped us out with some screeners, we'd seen the last couple of films that were on for the day, so we were able to caught up on those, and we were able to actually get ourselves some food before we keeled over. But so 4 films in total that we've seen that were on the lineup today that we can cover.
Yeah.
Should we begin with the film that opened the festival, right?
Yeah. So Suitable Flesh was the opening film on the main screen of the festival. These screens are massive as well, by the way.
Enormous. I've never been in such a big cinema screen.
We're in the second row. Oh. We're in the second row, and it is insane. It's a neck breaker.
It's a Lovecraft-based story, and I felt I was losing my mind.
Yeah.
There's one particular scene, I'll say, for these films that aren't on general release yet, we're not going to go full spoilers on these. Maybe slightly more than if you were going in completely blind. We'll talk a little bit about what we thought about them and some of the themes, but we won't do standard episode spoilers on this one. We're just going to talk about some generalizations. But I will tell you is that when you watch it on a screen that big, strap in if your kids are listening, cover their ears. There are quite a few sex scenes in Suitable Flesh. And in one of them,
there are so many sex scenes.
Insane spinning.
Oh yeah.
I thought I was losing my mind.
I actually felt dizzy.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever had that from like watching. It's because of the size of the screen, I think. Yeah. There are a lot of sex scenes. It's a very horny movie. Obviously, you've got Heather Graham, you've got Barbara Crampton, you've got a leading man. Well, there's a couple of lookalikes. There's a guy who looks like Zack Snyder, who plays like the husband of Heather Graham.
Edwards.
And there's another guy who looks like the lead singer of Creed, Scott. Is it Scott Stapp or something like that?
And the actual names I will just but
like a young version of him, and that was weird. Seeing him in a sort of sexual situation with Heather Graham was very strange. Not the most unconventional couple. They could have easily been a couple in the early 2000s. Scott Stapp and Heather Graham. Barbara Crampton's great. I think Barbara Crampton's great in anything she's in, from years ago, but also now. Obviously, it's a H.P. Lovecraft inspired, Stuart Gordon inspired thing. So even though there wasn't there was a bit of body horror, but there wasn't loads of body horror. I was kind of expecting it to go in that direction, but it didn't.
So it's based on Lovecraft's story, Something Left on the Doorstep.
Yeah, that's right.
And it would have been, I believe the director said in the beginning, it would have been Stuart Gordon's last film that he was going to direct.
Yeah.
Passed away.
That's correct, yeah.
So, it was an homage to both the director and the writer. And tell you what, I really enjoyed it. I think I'd recommend people seek this out when it comes out, right? I like
definitely.
A little bit of...
Directed by Joe Lynch, that's correct.
Yeah,
that's obviously directed Wrong Turn 2, Mayhem, which I haven't actually seen Mayhem.
I haven't seen Mayhem,
But it's really good, and I'm sure like we were kind of chuckling along at some of the transitions in the films, but I think that was kind of done on purpose, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was supposed to kind of look a bit silly, I guess. Silly.
Yeah, it definitely had elements of comedy in it, even though it was functionally quite a serious. There were definitely some moments of humour that were in there.
Yeah.
I think the range of emotions and acting delivered by both Heather Graham, Barbara Crampton certainly, and then the young male lead, which if my letterbox was playing ball, I would be able to tell you exactly his name. I have to insert this. Ben will insert this in text.
Scott Stapp from Creed. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah,
that's exactly who it was.
We'll put it up on screen. So a good bit of range from all of them as certain things happen to the characters and where they are mentally in the film. But really strong concept. I think. I mean, there's a reason H.P. Lovecraft survives,
and I guess a reason why this was chosen as the opening film as well. I think because Joe Lynch has got such a relationship with FrightFest, that was the reason it was decided to be shown. He did an intro as well, which was great. Cheat next.
Right, we'll bring up
Cheat. So this film it's the late showing in the main screen. Andy has seen this film. Just a brief rundown.
Yes,
there's a ghost.
A supernatural horror film. Here's the synopsis. On the surface, it is believed to be another urban legend. Supernatural being from the afterlife, violently killing anyone who cheats on their significant other in a small college town.
This is Jeremy Kyle's actual dream come true. Because I feel like when someone's cheated, Jeremy Kyle's fuming about it.
He is, and apparently he's not allowed to do lie detector tests or DNA tests if there's been violence. And unfortunately for this ghost is visiting violence to people all the time. Said someone in the lobby earlier, it has certainly derivative by comparing it to it directly, but it has a feeling to it, like an inevitability, a curse that you've triggered, and then something's coming after you that is got a bit of an it follows about it. But the story is very, very different. So it's a young girl who moves into a house with a guy. Things happen between them. It's called cheat. I don't think that's any major spoiler there. But then
you bloody cheated. That's right. I'm sending a bloody ghost after you.
And then this ghost is coming after them that takes terrible revenge. It is a decent supernatural horror movie. English language. It's an American film.
Okay, English language American film. Okay. Yeah, I still need to check that out, so I think I will be doing that. Obviously, the other film that we've already mentioned and you've seen extensive interviews with the cast and crew is Punch, which we enjoyed in Discovery Screen 1 Thursday evening. It was the last film of the day for us. That we watched in person in the screening. And yeah, I mean, it was great to sort of witness it with the cast and crew because they'd not seen it before, so we could kind of hear their reactions. They were laughing a lot.
Yeah, there was a lot of laughter in the cinema. And
I'm fine with that.
It's a slasher movie that doesn't take itself seriously. It intends to be tongue-in-cheek and funny. And I think that despite having some violent slasher kills in there as well, and I think the director...
So it's like a seaside slasher movie taking place, I think it's shot in Hastings, and they said Clacton-on-Sea. And then a killer who's wearing like a punch mask, so like Punch and Judy style mask. And
for overseas listeners, it is a very strange British
it's very strange,
tradition.
It is.
About a
domestic abuse,
horrible little misogynist,
horrible domestic
abuse, his wife and a dog and a policeman and a crocodile.
Yeah, exactly.
But in this seaside town, he's presented as an urban legend for people to behave themselves. There's some serious themes running behind it, but on the face of it, it is a fun slasher movie with horrible bloke in a punch match.
Yeah, and I mean some great performances. Obviously, we did speak to some of the actors from the thing, but yeah, some great performances. A great sort of lead and final girl, but also some great supporting characters as well. Sometimes slasher movies suffer from having bad supporting characters or supporting characters you're keen to die immediately, and I don't think this film's kind of got many of those. There's some weirdos, but
yeah, there's some strange characters. And for friend of the show, Alice Taylor Matthews. Full frontal male nudity. Add it to your watch list. It's
full frontal male nudity, which was unexpected, but always welcomed. So, and then after that, in the same screen, which is a movie that you also saw, Andy, was the movie Lore.
Yes, Lore, and I believe we spoke about this a little bit on our first section that we recorded here as well. So that section of very, very British. Got Rufus Hound in a hotel where he's being pursued by a bunch of cultists. We have Andrew Lee Potts in a warehouse pursued with a monstrous creature that he's facing up against while he's trying to run from some debt.
So it's an anthology, you said, didn't you?
Yes, it's an anthology of four individual stories that are presented as some people, like old-fashioned style, sitting around the campfire telling some scary story. A bit like we could do in this lovely surrounded, Ben, if we weren't.
Well, this is the thing. We didn't mention this already. Obviously, we started off today, sat in some very nice podcasting chairs. We're ending the day cozy cast on the sofa, dimmed lighting. Andy's got a bottle made of pure solid gold.
Solid gold bottle.
He's drinking some lovely. Who knows what it could be. But yeah, so I guess we're going to try. Maybe for the early parts we don't talk too much about the films, because if we're going to be talking about them as much afterwards, that's fine. But yeah, hopefully some more interviews coming tomorrow.
What we got on the agenda tomorrow, Ben? What's up?
Well, I guess we should just talk about it in the morning, shouldn't we?
All right, and I guess we'll get straight to bed. We'll talk about what's on in the morning.
me and Andy, we could talk about it in bed if you like. Yeah. We're not sharing a bed, but we might. You never know. We might get lonely.
Yeah, it was
cold. It's not cold, is it?
It's pretty hot.
It's pretty hot.
I tell you what, we'll talk about films tomorrow. Today we'll talk a little bit about the atmosphere. I've never been in a cinema foyer so full of people.
Yeah, this was insane. This felt like being like at a gig, essentially, a sold out gig or an oversold gig, where you walk in and you're like, that's just people, I'm not able to move. And it kind of was like that. And it maybe a little bit overwhelming at start.
Ben was getting his hair off because there were people standing in front of the posters he wanted to take photos of.
I want to take photos of these damn posters. What are you doing standing in front of them? Yeah, I mean,
standing texting. And then because it's a British film convention, if you stand still somewhere, then people immediately start forming a queue behind you.
That's true.
There was an area where I just spent my time. I just put my back against a wall, but it was an illuminated wall that had posters on it. And I was like, I feel this is affecting my fertility. I feel like I'm being irradiated by this glowing wall.
Yeah. So I'm sure you're plenty for
an extra arm. It'd be like the neogenic nightmare all over again. When Spider-Man grew those extra arms.
But yeah, the atmosphere is great. Obviously, after the showing of Punch, I think was when we experienced it properly for the first time, kind of mingling, chatting to people, not really knowing who anyone was, but kind of enjoying
talking to the people, because the way the screenings work, we have the main screen where we're going to be in every mainstream film we go to. We'll always be in the same seats. But then, of course, with the Discovery screenings, we aren't really sitting together for any of them. So I was sitting next to some fun people who hopefully meet them a little bit later this week.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was really fun. Lots of people to chat to. The atmosphere is really nice. Everyone's very friendly. So
yeah,
if you haven't been to FrightFest before and it's not a million miles away from you, unless things radically change next year, my opinion from day one is it's real good. It's busy, but real good.
Yeah, definitely. Right, we'll catch up with you in the morning when we do preview for day 2.
Quick outfit
Friday.
change.
A quick outfit change. Yeah.
I'm not going to wear the same thing.
Don't do that. That would be humiliating for everybody. Or just say you got one of the same. You got 10 versions of the same outfit, like Dexter,
like Charlie Brown. I might see the same jeans. I'm not fucking Taylor Swift doing that many costume changes.
You don't need to. Okay, right. See you in the morning.
See you later. Bye.
Bye. Hello, welcome to Horror Hangout at FrightFest Day 2. we're here. We're ready for a full day of horror movies. Obviously, yesterday only a couple yesterday, but today we're going.
It's good.
All out.
It's a big day today. Starting with a documentary. That's your veggies, and then
that's your veggies. That eases you in a documentary. So we're going to see the J horror virus first thing this morning. A documentary all about Japanese horror and the boom of Japanese horror in 90s into early 2000s.
The remake wave that followed, right?
Yeah, exactly. So looking forward to that. I've been looking forward to that for a while, ever since it was announced. I was extremely keen to check this out. So glad I'm going to be able to see it on the big screen. Glad I can get tickets for that. We've got some main screen excitement as well. Creeping Death is a movie we're going to be trying to check out. New Life is on there, but we've actually seen that already. But we'll still do a review.
We'll talk about New Life later.
Yeah, a review of that. A movie called That's a Wrap, I think I'm down for. Last thing tonight. Interesting that the final film of the day should be called That's a Wrap.
Yeah, That's a Wrap.
You're off to see Black Mold, though, aren't you?
Yeah, we've got Black Mold today. So...
That doesn't mean he's a landlord. Looking in a house for Black Mold.
Making sure you've got something to do, or maybe not bloody landlords.
Bloody landlords, exactly. They'll just paint over it, right?
Yeah, that's right. Didn't sort it out properly at all, but we don't know if that's what it's about. Actually, we know it's exactly not what it's about. There are two photographers going to an abandoned site, to do some urban exploring, but then there's a mysterious, and he's only credited as the man upstairs.
Oh, right.
Bringing back
Steptoe
traumas. Yeah.
Steptoe upstairs. It's a remake of that. We've got How to Kill Monsters, a sold-out screening of that. We actually sat with some of the cast yesterday.
Yeah, we sat with Lyndsey, who's one of the main stars of the film, and Stewart as well, so who from the production company and directs it. So yeah, we sat with those guys yesterday. Very nice people, both of them.
Yeah, absolutely lovely. Hoping to get some interviews with them as well. And then we're seeing Dr. Jekyll on. Well, I'm seeing Dr. Jekyll on one of the Discovery screens, which should be pretty exciting. Susie Izzard. I don't know if she's necessarily going to be there.
Yeah, I don't know. But isn't Susie Izzard running for council these days as well?
Well, maybe too busy for the likes of FrightFest. But
look, she's there. We'll try and say hi.
Yeah, most definitely. And is there anything else? We've got short film showcase.
We have a short film. The first of the short film showcases is today as well. And because I'm a terrible completionist, when they said there were 70 movies, I was like, right, I'm just going to get my completion percentage up.
Oh, okay, I see what you mean.
For the total 70 for the entire festival. So I thought
you can't see all of them.
Can't possibly see all of them.
Possible, isn't it?
But I can get a high completion percentage.
Yeah.
But then we have Werewolf Santa. Ben and I have both seen that, so we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
We have the Discovery screenings for this one sold out incredibly quickly. It's proven very popular. I think they've got 3 screenings running of it now.
Yeah, and I think they're all sold out as well. So.
You will already see my interview with Errol, the director, already on our bonus feed. But we're going to try and catch them live and Emily Booth live while we can.
We're going to do what we can.
As well. We did manage to grab one seat at one of the screenings. Whether we donate that to Luke.
That's all of us sat in it. Yeah. I reckon all 3 of us just share. One bum cheek.
Put a big coat on.
Put a big coat on.
Hugh, Dewey, and Louie. Get in there.
Put a big coat on, like 18 feet tall.
Yeah.
Walking in.
Oh!
This guy all right. So we'll pass over to. Well, it worked last time. Hopefully, it's going to work this time.
Yeah. To future Ben, Andy, and possibly Luke.
On the red carpet / media wall / cinema foyer.
Bye for now, everybody.
Goodbye.
I'm here with the directors of J Horror Virus, Sarah and Jasper. Welcome and congratulations on the documentary.
Hi, thank you so much for talking to us.
No problem at all. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks so much. Good. How are you?
All right.
How was seeing it on a big screen? That is the world premiere, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The first. Wow. Yeah. And so, how did that feel? Seeing an audience taking it in for the first time.
Well, I was a bit nervous about being there with the audience, so I sort of ran away.
Okay.
But we saw at the end, it was quite nice, and people seemed to have enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is you're always worried about how people are going to receive something, because it's quite, niche subject matter, shall we say? But I mean, it seemed to go down well.
A niche subject matter, but one that's obviously got very sort of like rabid fans. Maybe not the right word to describe them, but but sort of very adamant fans as well. What sort of if you could pick a handful of J horror movies to recommend to someone who was brand new to the subgenre, what would you recommend?
Oh, well, you got to recommend Ring. Brand new. Haven't seen Ring. Where have you been?
Where the hell have you been? Exactly.
Ring, Pulse for sure.
Ju-on, The Grudge. Anything by Kiyoshi Kurosawa, I mean, Cure, Pulse again. great little film also called Uzumaki, which isn't quite in the J-horror vibe, but it's what about a town that's haunted by killer spirals?
It's really cool, and some people turn into snails at the end. It's strange.
Killer spirals. Well, there we go. Also, obviously, what I thought was quite fascinating was seeing a lot of the Japanese interviewees discussing like American and English language remakes, and they seem really positive about sort of a bigger audience for these films. But it's strange because I think in the horror sphere, a lot of critics aren't particularly happy about a lot of these English language remakes. So how was that expected when you started speaking to people? They were going to be happy about the English language versions?
I think the Japanese always get happy when there's any focus on their cinema, and you know, if these remakes bring the film's originals into a wider audience, that could only be a good thing. I mean, there's many debates to be had whether they're actually better or not. I mean, I always prefer the originals.
I did watch The Ring 2002 remake when I was 10, and it scared the shit out of me. So
I think
it's pretty good.
It's pretty good. You doing the film, so yeah.
But, you know, you can't say it's better than the original.
So you saw that before the original?
Yeah.
I did too, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It scared me to death. It was not good.
In terms of the interviewees, was there anyone in particular that you were really glad took part in the documentary?
Yoshi Kurosawa for me, like when we got him, he was kind of late in, and we really wanted him because Pulse is probably, I think it's the best one. Obviously, it's, you know, my opinion.
Yeah, Shinya Tsukamoto, Kiyoshi Kurosawa, they're very good at talking about their films. For me, I think it was Teruyoshi Ishii, who made the very first seminal J-horror, Psychic Vision. And that was a real discovery for me. I wasn't that aware of the title, but we were literally recommended by Norio Tsuruta, who I knew was very crucial, as one of the genre's founding fathers. But he said, no, you've got to go back right to the source and watch Psychic Vision and interview Ishii. And I think it's great because it's a director and a film that's not particularly well known at all.
I'd never heard of that one before, but I think after watching that, my watch list has definitely grown exponentially. How did this compare to making a documentary for the found footage phenomenon as well then, Sarah?
This was much harder because it was all in Japanese.
Oh yeah, of course.
I edited it all in Japanese, and I don't speak Japanese, so yeah, I use obviously subtitles.
A huge challenge.
That was quite hard. So, but apart from that, I don't know.
Well, I mean, we weren't allowed into Japan because of the COVID lockdown, so everything was done remotely. So it was obviously a bit difficult sort of coordinating stuff in Tokyo side. We were lucky that Tom Mez, my co-writer on Midnight Eye, was there sort of sorting out the sort of logistics of where to shoot and
he lives there.
But yeah, I mean, otherwise it was a case of me writing to all the interviewees in Japanese, doing the questions for them, and hoping for the best when the footage came back and it was subtitled. So.
I mean, amazing. It's good to see that all the hard work has paid off. So yeah, congratulations on the documentary. Obviously, you're going to more film festivals, and then hopefully it'll be available on streaming elsewhere. We'll keep listeners up to speed with that. But thank you so much, Sarah.
Thank
Jasper,
you.
and congratulations
Thanks for your
Thank
interest.
you very much.
So I'm here after our screening of Black Mold with the director, John. John, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Congratulations, international premiere at Black Mold.
Yes, awesome to be here at FrightFest. It's not just my first time at FrightFest, first time in London, first time in England. So to be able to come here with the film is just, it's an awesome feeling.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. And for everyone back at home, I've invited John up to Scotland already. We're looking forward to seeing him soon. You know, they do a Glasgow version of this.
I have heard about that. So
See us next year.
yes. When is that?
Oh, usually for an NBS or
Okay.
April.
Okay, perfect. We can do that.
So, I know this was a passion project for you. You're an urban explorer. You enjoy those abandoned locations. So, what was it like bringing like another hobby to the big screen and using it to influence your film?
It was really exciting because as I told our cast and crew going into this, we don't really see these type of locations in movies other than post-apocalyptic settings, or, you know, maybe just like someone's going into the creepy hospital and look for ghosts. To be able to tell a dramatic narrative set in these settings was something I was really stoked about. And it was just kind of cool because I like to do this for fun, to then be able to just do it for a film and spend every day in these buildings. It was really great. It was exciting.
Amazing. And so, an amazing bit of psychological drama as well. You'll get no spoilers from me here. You should go and see it out there. But the psychology of it, like, how did you enjoy, like, meshing this supernatural thoughts, the biological things? That's something you had for an outset with it. Be open to just to interpretations it goes through as well.
Yeah, so, you know, it was one of those things. I started going to therapy in 2017, and I've been thinking about what would this movie look like if I didn't go to therapy.
Right.
And because so much of it was not just exploring the psychological thoughts, but just kind of exploring my journey with mental health and being able to wrap that into the story, and knowing that I did want to kind of, you know, answer some things, leave some other things for interpretation, because the point of view of the characters, they're not entirely sure what's happening. And I wanted to reflect that with the audience as well, but also not keep it completely vague that you have no idea what's going on.
So, final question then. So, distribution, when can people hope to see this if they couldn't make it to FrightFest? Have you got more festivals? Are you going for streaming?
We have more festivals in the United States right now. We'll be doing a lot in October. Distribution talks are happening. Nothing is set in stone, so I can't say anything just yet, but we definitely want to bring it back to the UK, do some more festivals.
Well, we will keep our listeners posted. Thank you so much for joining us, John. Enjoy the rest of your festival.
Thank you, Andy. You too.
Hello there. I'm here with Paul Butler, writer of How to Kill Monsters, part of the team. We just enjoyed the premiere.
Did you like it?
I loved it. I heard you go in like an anthology direction and a new short story every time. I'll watch as many as you want to write.
Oh, brilliant. That's
and we've just found out together, both from Tamworth.
Tamworth.
Yes, sent to the universe. So,
Awesome.
what was the experience like? I mean, seeing it in front of what an audience.
Seriously brilliant. I've seen the film before a few times and blah, 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 but I felt like I was seeing it fresh again because you're always so nitpicky with your own films, and I'm sat there going, oh, does that gag work? Does the writing fit together? And then you sit and watch it. And in a way, I was just sucked into the actors, sucked into all the cinematography. The team we had was phenomenal. And I hope people liked it. People seem to laugh when they should have laughed.
I think the crowd seemed to really be enjoying themselves. Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, but awesome. Yeah, really good fun.
Phenomenal stuff. And then what's coming next for you guys? Back to the drawing board.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, we're always in development. Me and Stewart do the writing together, so I kind of say that I try and tame his crazy ideas, but as you see, I let him run wild, which is good for everyone. And yeah, we are in development of a few projects at the moment, but definitely same kind of vein, same kind of fun. We love horror, we love practical effects, we love gore. We just love enjoying the filmmaking process. So,
well, you can be assured that we'll be here to talk about it when they're coming out.
That'll be awesome.
Brilliant premiere. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, man.
Thank you. Cheers. Hello again. A double interview after this premiere of How to Kill Monsters with Lyndsey, star of the show. Thanks for taking that bottle, Ben. So, what did it feel like watching it up on the big screen, Lyndsey?
It was a bit surreal, especially this size screen. But it's so amazing to have the premiere at FrightFest. It was our dream when we started making the film that we would get into FrightFest and have the world premiere here. So yeah, it's been an amazing experience to have it.
Yeah, and one audience as well. Everyone seems to really enjoy it.
Yeah. I mean, we sold out, which was insane. And yeah, hopefully everyone enjoyed it and had fun, and that's all we can hope for.
And you're a rising star in the horror world now. I know I've certainly seen a few things of you with you in just over the last year or so. You seem to really enjoy the genre, so you're sticking with horror. You're not going to dive into period dramas anytime soon.
I mean, that would be lovely. I would love to do other genres as well, but obviously horror is a lot of fun, particularly horror comedy. It's always fun to do that. So getting covered in blood is just become part of my daily thing.
You
now.
seem to have an affinity for it, and it was ever so enjoyable. So for this particular film, more showcases, more events, or are we going for digital distribution now? What's the future look like?
Well, hopefully it'll go on the festival run now, and then hopefully distribution news in the future.
Well, we shall no doubt keep people informed of it. Now, I'm going to have to ask, because I've got a genre connoisseur with me now, do a podcast called The Horror Hangout. So we're talking about when you're inviting people around to watch a horror movie with you.
Yeah.
When the responsibility's on you, what film are you picking?
I've got to go for my favourite franchise. It's Scream. Scream's my favourite. I've got to, Scream 2 is...
Love Scream 2.
There we go.
Choice.
Thank
Good
you.
choice.
Yes. Passed.
Excellent choice. Thank you so much, Lyndsey. I know there'll be plenty of people on this one, so I'll let you get to it. But
Thank you.
So good.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hello, welcome. We're with Stewart, the director of How to Kill Monsters, which you've just seen on the big screen for the first time. How exciting. Welcome and congratulations first on the film.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad you guys came. This is awesome.
We're glad that we came as well. How was it witnessing it with such a huge crowd, a loud crowd as well, everyone laughing and jumping?
It was overwhelming, to be honest with you, because I've watched it so many times on my own. Obviously, I edited the film too, so I've lived with it for so long. And then even when we tested the DCP in the cinema, there was only like 3 of us. So watching it with the crowd was unreal, to be honest with you. I'm just glad people laughed.
Oh yeah,
as long as they laughed at the funny bits, that was the main thing.
As long as they laugh in the right places.
Yeah, that was the biggest worry.
If not, you just overcommit and laugh yourself, and then everyone will join in eventually. But yeah, it was amazing. There's so many amazing performances in it as well. I think that was one thing to say apart. The performances seemed to really carry it. But the action as well. How was it choreographed as some of the action? Because it was intense.
Yeah, it was just again, it's one of the things after Book of Monsters. We didn't really have much action. And I always kind of said Book of Monsters is Alien and this is Aliens. Also, let's just go this time it's war. So I was like, let's just make it fun. So Dan actually, Daniel Fraser from the back cast who plays Melvin in the movie, did a lot of the fight choreography. And then I met with Hamish Sachs, our amazing DOP, who made it look like it cost millions very clearly. Yeah, we know it did. We put in a lot of camera movement this time, so the camera's always dollying around, it's always moving and things, and just to make it, again, just like the movies that I love, there's a lot of Sam Raimi kind of canted handheld moves in there, a lot of dolly shots.
So what films would you say inspired it mainly? So obviously Evil Dead, but what other films would you say?
Yeah, again, hopefully it's clear that, Edgar Wright's films are a massive influence on us. We have a lot of whooshes and whip hands in there. So Shaun of the Dead is amazing. Weirdly, my favourite film of Edgar Wright's is Hot Fuzz, which you see a lot of in this, hopefully. But yeah, other horror movies, God, I love everything. Like, I love stuff like the 1999 Brendan Fraser Mummy movie. I love Stephen Sommers' previous movie, Deep Rising.
Oh yeah,
which is fucking awesome.
Rest in peace, Treat Williams, right?
Yeah, man. God. So it's like I just love that era of late 80s, 90s horror. Like in the 2000s, things kind of go a different direction. We start to lose those fun, entertainment movies.
Yeah,
things went more serious. There's a lot of ghosts. There's a lot of tragic kind of stuff, but you really get that era, and we tried to just put as much of that in it. It's like, let's make a popcorn movie. It's just fun. And when people go, what do I expect? It's like, you're going to get a goosey on horror movie. That is what you're going to get. That's hopefully.
It is a lot of fun, and of course, it is described as a Saturday night movie as well, which I think I definitely get that vibe. A question we always ask here on Horror Hangout is, what would be your horror hangout movie? So a movie that you would hang out and watch with friends and recommend.
Oh my God.
If you're introducing it to them for the first time, for example.
Oh, well, I probably would be The Mummy.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people haven't seen it, which is weird.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you haven't seen the Brendan Fraser.
It was on BBC One every week for probably about 10 years.
That movie, weirdly, is one of the films that made me want to make films. I was like, this is awesome. I'm having such fun.
Yeah.
It's just entertaining. So, The Mummy is one. My wife, Lyndsey, Craine, who's in the movie as well, when I first met, we've been together for over 10 years now, so we met at university. She was not into horror, so I had to introduce her slowly.
Yeah.
Started with American Horror Story, that's easy. That's your gateway stuff. And then I was like, hey, you should watch Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness and stuff. So it's, I just love those types of movies. It's like, you could tell if someone gets it, they enjoy it. If they don't get it, you're like, I don't want to be friends with you anymore. Luckily,
it's as simple as that. As simple as that. Also, horror films set in a police station. I think something about that. It gave me sort of Resident Evil 2, the game.
100%, man. Resident Evil 2 was a massive. I almost had a typewriter in there, and I always was having someone trying to use it.
Even when everyone was against the lockers, I kind of thought this is the moment when Leon finds Marvin, just when he's just been bitten. And even some of the soundtrack sort of beats felt a little bit.
Yeah, Dave Walker, who is our composer, he did Book of Monsters too. Book of Monsters was very 80s. This one, we were like, what are we going to do this time? And he went, well, I'm going to do Con Air meets Silent Hill 3. And he's mega into his video games.
What combination.
So, yeah, hopefully, and I think he nailed it because there's those guitarists in there. You got sexy sax.
Yeah.
You got some cool stuff. So, yeah, he really nailed the music on this one.
Yeah, it was great. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was the effects. How hands-on were you with creating any effects, or were you completely hands-off
Yeah,
with that?
It's weird. So obviously I have to be hands-on because I'm very specific about what I want. I'm one of those directors who likes to get in and start moving shit around and put more blood where I want it to be. So coming up with the effects work with Paul and Mark from DDFX. Early on we were like, hey, because we made the film very, very quickly because we did the Kickstarter and everything. So we were like, hey, we're going to do a giant slug monster that's going to eat someone. And they're like, okay, how big does it need to be? And I'm like lying on my floor with a tape recorder going, no, Lyndsey. So that's always really fun. And then we brought on Gary Allen, who's a props maker, to make like miniatures. So it's like a miniature Cthulhu and a police station, which I think just nails that feel of the movie. Because if we do CGI it, just like CGI. He was like, no, we need miniatures. So I've currently got in my garage like a massive 2-meter wide police station model and Cthulhu. So I'm like, we need to do something else with that.
Yeah, you don't want to waste that.
Yeah.
Well, wonderful. Thank you very much, Stewart. Thanks for talking to us. And again, congratulations on How to Kill Monsters. Enjoy the rest of FrightFest.
Thank you guys so much for coming. I really appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
This is very exciting times, man. This is absolute carnage. I feel like a war correspondent.
We're at FrightFest with Horror Hangout founding member Luke Kondor with a K. Luke, how does it feel to be at FrightFest this year?
It's overwhelming. There's too much horror. Lots of screaming, and it's all coming from me.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'm having a lovely time. I am finding myself like I'm slightly losing grip on reality, where I'm seeing people and having to really debate myself. Is that person I know, or do I know them from a film, and therefore can't just go over to them and be like, "Hi, mate."
I think it's safe to assume you know everyone over here. You wave to this guy.
Getting well connected by that age.
No, but
what are you? I mean, we'll do a recap. But what are you looking forward to seeing at the festival so far?
I like short stories, so I think I'm looking forward to the short films.
You like in short stories? Is there if someone wanted to enjoy short stories in an audio format, anywhere you'd suggest?
You can go to theotherstories.net, listen to horror, sci-fi, short story every Monday morning.
And I've heard, I think if someone really twisted your arm, do you think you might ever turn your short story prowess into film one day? Maybe do some short movies to see?
We were just talking about this over beers like 10 minutes ago.
Oh yeah.
I think we can definitely do it. I think we get John Cownley or Crinan.
I could get used to being on that side of the press wall. I don't know about you.
But Destin's good.
Well, watch this space, everybody. If you would like to see what this team, Luke especially, would come up with for a horror short, do watch out when we start crowdfunding these things, won't you? Your support's gratefully accepted in the future. Thank you so much. Thanks, Luke. Over to you in the studio.
I'm here with Takeshi Kushida, all the way from Tokyo. Obviously, we spoke on Zoom mere days ago, and now we are in London together. How are you enjoying the festival so far, Takeshi?
It's a great atmosphere. I've never been to a film festival with this kind of atmosphere. It's like a festival for film fans.
Yeah,
which is great.
And of course, we spoke about your film, My Mother's Eyes. Yeah. You said you'd shown it at a previous film festival where you weren't sure if they were actually film fans watching you. So how does this audience compare? Obviously, your screening is on Monday. How do you think yours is going to compare?
Japanese one.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
Japanese audience tend to be polite. Yeah. They don't laugh or they don't scream. But I have seen 5 films already in FrightFest. Every screening has someone to screaming. So I'm excited to see how audience react to my Mother's Eyes.
Do you have a favorite film you've seen so far out of the 5?
Yeah, Pound Cake was good.
Which was that one?
Pound Cake.
Pound Cake, and that's literally what you've just seen, is that correct? Wow, okay. So I didn't actually get a chance to see that, but you'd recommend it, yeah?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, we're going to hang around. We're off for a beer in a minute, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're off for a drink. And of course, we'll try and catch up with Takeshi again after his screening of My Mother's Eyes on Monday, but we're looking forward to...
Good morning, everybody. Good Morgan. So we've kind of messed up the way... Jesus, that's a tripping hazard. Clutching onto that bottle for dear life.
Put it under my arm.
Okay, so we kind of messed up our No, okay. A man of one talent.
So you join us live on the way in to day 3 of FrightFest. The short film showcase for the day will be starting shortly.
We kind of messed up what we were doing. So last night we didn't end up doing like a sum up for the day, a roundup, because we went.
Accidentally stayed out till 4 in the morning.
Accidentally stayed out till 4 in the morning. Went out on the beers, the elephant ears. I went to a drag show. Luke Kondor. No, I was going to make up a lie about him, but it's not fair, is it?
No.
It's not fair to do that. Honest journalism only. So what we'll do is our roundup for day 2 and 3 together tonight. Now, who knows? That might end up being the 2, 3, and 4 together if things go wild again.
I think that's part of the festival experience, though. There's been a lot of everyone's keen to chat and hang out afterwards. Everyone's been very welcoming, I must say. So
exactly, everyone's very welcoming. And Luke's here for the first. Yeah, you've not even been to a film yet.
I haven't been to a film yet, but I have been very, very drunk.
not from the word go. You didn't arrive drunk.
Always drunk.
Or did you? He's always drunk. So Luke's attended for the first session. Yeah, that's exciting. Are you feeling excited about it?
I want to see some short films if we get there in time.
We'll get there in time, and even if we miss one short film,
we'll
catch up.
Walk in really loud.
But if we walk in really loud with our phones on the highest brightness, looking for our seats, shouting, I fucking love short films, I do. Get them down my neck.
Shouting and farting.
Shouting and farting, and whatever else. So what's on the agenda for today? Short film showcase is first up.
We bring it up for you.
You're bringing it up for me. That's very nice of you. I know there's a screening of The Conjuring today in the main screen.
So the main screen today we have Monolith. Cobweb is on this afternoon.
Monolith, Cobweb, yes. We've got, I think the director of Cobweb is going to be on the media wall as well. So we'll try and catch him. So Monolith, I think.
Monolith is 10:45, so that's just shortly.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah.
10:45, so that's when we're probably going to miss that one. And then after that, anything else?
Pandemonium, and then Heard is this afternoon. You will have seen me interview Stephen from the Heard director. Very nice bunch. They've seen the cast around already in some screenings yesterday, so I think they'll all be in attendance.
Very nice. Very, very nice.
And then Farang, and then Transmission is 11 p.m. tonight. I did want to catch Transmission.
Farang and Transmission. Yeah, we've not actually gone to like a super late screening yet, have we?
Maybe Transmission tonight then.
Yeah, maybe we should. Obviously, we missed the screen of Werewolf Santa last night, but I think everyone had fun. It seems like proper party atmosphere yesterday going into Werewolf Santa. Like, we've got a video of the carnage just before that. And it was so confusing that I even forgot to switch the microphones on. So
hopefully the audio will come out well. But there's yet more. Today's a big day. So you're right, Ben. There's a screening of The Conjuring. Also, The Moor. Isaac is another film that we've caught in the previews about a couple who tried to conceive a new child with gene therapy and genetics with an engineering company. That was an interesting film. The Glenarma tapes, which is one of my favorites. I've watched.
Oh yeah, Glenarma tapes. I've seen that.
Which is a like an Irish found footage movie, really, really entertaining.
Sweet. So yeah, we'll be doing our roundup of day 2 yesterday and day 3 today together at some point. Maybe sat on the sofa with some mood lighting later on. So yeah, tune in for that. But yeah, we'll probably have more interviews in between this moment and later.
We shall. Back to a future us.
Back to our future us. Can I just admire the shades just before we go? They're looking good. We're going to say goodbye to Luke as well, because...
Hello.
No, goodbye.
Oh, goodbye.
I'm here with John Crinan, former guest, friend of the show, just a lovely man in general.
Oh, you're
here live at FrightFest in the hustle and bustle of Leicester Square.
Yeah, it's a little bit chaotic. Hopefully we're coming through.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope so. I thought I'd catch up with you to ask you what you've seen so far, what you're looking forward to at FrightFest. Obviously, great to see you here at the event. Amazing.
Yeah, it's lovely to actually be able to reach out and touch
really
you in a nice way. That sounds a little bit weird, but it's nice. It's nice.
It's always you're always much taller than I remember. I don't know why. Maybe I just feel a bit next to you, but I
hope not. We're equals here. What have I seen? I have seen Well, I didn't get one of the fancy weekend passes that everyone's rocking around. I'm very jealous of them, but next year I will.
Yeah.
We've been getting single tickets to some things. We saw How to Kill Monsters last night, which I loved. I'm a big fan of the first movie, Book of Monsters, so I really want to see that. I'm actually in the credits as a Kickstarter backer for How to Kill Monsters as well.
Okay, nice.
So I had a really fun moment getting to point that out and go like, yes, that's me in the credits on the big super screen here. And then today I saw Cobweb, and Cobweb was fun too. Everything's been fun, but the most fun part about it has been like seeing everyone.
Yeah.
I'm walking through, I'm seeing the iconic stairs and walking up. I've got my selfie next to them, and just walking through the foyer, trying to go for a pee or trying to grab a beer.
Yeah.
You just bump into everyone from Instagram, and that's like the best.
So it's your first time?
This is my first FrightFest. Yeah, believe it or not. Despite being in London for years and years, I never actually made it along to here.
Yeah. We just said we keep doing this thing where we see people and we're like, do we see them because we know them from Instagram? Do we know them from a film, or do we actually know them in real life? Because if you don't know them in real life, you can't just go up to them and say,
You have? Well, I've had a couple of people like that, and I'm always so enthusiastic. I'll always run up and be like, "Can I give you a hug?" You know, it's awesome, and everyone's so lovely. And it's already happened to me just now. Actually, when I just was in Cobweb, we were just going to the bathroom before the film started, and someone from Instagram saw me, grabbed me, and I was like, "I really want to talk. I really want to say hello, but I have to run. I've got to get into this screening." So I think the best thing to do is just to always go up and say hello. But yeah, there is a moment where you don't know, or it's just that moment across the room where you recognize the face, and it just takes a split second to go, is that an Insta person? Is that a real person? Is that someone I recognize from one of the films? Because all the stars are here as well.
It just feels like a big sort of like horror family environment that everyone's loving it. Everyone's loving each other.
Everybody's
Good
here.
vibes only.
It's so amazing. It's so amazing.
Are there any particular screenings that you're going to for the next couple of days that you're looking forward to most?
So I'm really looking forward to Eight Eyes. I haven't seen any. I don't watch trailers particularly. I might have said that on the podcast before. I try and avoid trailers for the most part. So I have no idea what I'm getting myself in for. I'm going to see Eight Eyes tomorrow. I'm seeing T-Blockers. I'm seeing something else, but I can't remember what it is. Just because there's so much going on. There's a few that I've missed. Which I'll have to see some other time.
Of course,
But I would say those ones I'm most excited about. Eight Eyes I'm very intrigued by just because of who's involved, things like, but who knows how it's going to turn out. We'll see.
Amazing. There's so much more, so many more amazing films to check out here at FrightFest. We're only on day 3, so there's loads more.
Oh yeah,
to go on.
It's
Day 3.
It's day 2 for me.
Okay, day 2 for you. Yeah, so day 3. So obviously looking forward to, we'll catch up with you again, hopefully, John.
I really hope so.
And again, hopefully, if you're on the show at some point soon as well,
you know,
we'll reminisce about our lovely time in Leicester Square.
I'm always game to come on the show. You know this. I feel so cool with my little microphone.
Tiny microphone. The tiny microphone again, lots of love. When I ordered them, I thought they were like big ones.
Oh yeah.
Because they're quite expensive, so I was like going, surely they're handheld ones.
Yeah.
And when they arrived, I was like, is this a joke?
Well, as we all know, and as I say repeatedly, size does not matter, ladies and gentlemen. So,
really? I mean, no comment. So, thanks a lot, John. See you very soon.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm here with Chris Mayo from Big Fat Cult, which is TikTok, YouTube, sort of horror news, and horror reviews stuff, which has got a huge following as well, right?
It's been going well, yeah. It's, I think the good thing about TikTok is once you find an audience, suddenly everyone kind of latches on. So, like, horror films are really popular, cult films are really popular. I talk a lot about weird, disturbing movies, kind of slightly fringy stuff. And obviously, I'm now doing festivals and things as well, so I'm here for the 5 days, dipping in and out of some screenings, and also chatting to other people and filmmakers.
Is it the first time you've been to FrightFest?
It's the first time I've been as a proper sort of media person, so this is the first time I've been seeing behind the scenes and bits and bobs. But I've been for, this is my 5th year overall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
A seasoned veteran, I think that makes you then.
Yeah, it never gets any less crazy though. There's just so much going on. Picking the right
It's incredibly
films,
crazy,
knowing
yeah.
who to talk to, and also things like this where you've spoken to people on emails or in comments and stuff, and suddenly people turn up and you're like,
right in your face.
Yeah, from that email thread 3 years ago. Yeah, cool, nice to see you. But no, it's really cool. It's fun.
Yeah, no, it is fun. It is really fun. So you're enjoying the festival so far. What screenings have you managed to check out?
So I got sent a bunch of films prior to the festival, so I saw a bunch of stuff, and I saved the stuff I kind of wanted to see on a massive screen here. So I saw the opening film here suitable flesh. I saw It Lives Inside yesterday, which is really
wow,
cool.
okay.
Really
How was
enjoyed
that? We
It's
didn't manage to check that out, but you've seen that.
It was really good. It was a slightly different take on the kind of possession movie, demons and some cultural stuff in there as well, which is really interesting. Very, very good sound design, which is a big thing.
Yeah, and I mean, in that main screen, the sound design is the one thing that's getting. I mean, I've never experienced jump scares like it.
No, you cannot fall asleep in that screen no matter how tired you are. So yeah, it's and my favorite so far is Faceless in the Dark, which I saw last night,
okay.
which I really, really loved. Very, very, lots of very intense visuals, great sound design. It was good fun. Yeah, I like that.
Amazing. And did you mention you've seen Werewolf Santa?
I've seen Werewolf Santa. I'm a sucker for a good title. I'm like, I'm a sucker for a slightly trashy but charming film. So that is my
Trashy and charming is a good way to describe it. Obviously, we had the director Aro on the podcast fairly recently, and obviously we interviewed Emily Booth last night just before they went in for the premiere, which was super exciting. But yeah, I think this is a great festival to see stuff like that. I think that perhaps you wouldn't necessarily take a punt on before, but now you're here, you're thinking, going to see it on a big screen, might as well check it out. Definitely.
Yeah, there's high arts, less high arts. There's
high arts levels.
International films, stuff that I would never normally get a chance to see. So and also hopefully starting conversations with people, and watching their careers.
Of course.
FrightFest and
that's one exciting thing, isn't it? Yeah.
And also it feels nice to have seen stuff before other people. So when you suddenly see film titles pop up, you're like, oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. I've actually seen that, so no need to. Anything that is coming up that you're excited to be checking out?
So I'm about to go in and watch The More, which is a really good folk horror film. I saw the screener for that and I liked it so much that I wanted to see it on the big screen.
Amazing,
and Thorns I'm seeing tonight, which is the kind of Hellraiser-ish body horror sci-fi film, which looks like a really good 80s throwback. So
we had Doug Bradley interviewed on the show fairly recently, so it's going to be amazing to see like him on the big screen as well. So looking forward to that. Awesome. Thanks so much, Chris.
Absolute pleasure.
Really do appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of the festival. No doubt we'll catch up again soon.
Yeah, nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks very much.
Take care. Cheers. Hello, we are at FrightFest. We've just seen Cobweb, the international premiere of that film. Of that film.
Yeah.
There was a cobweb.
There was a few cobwebs.
Yeah.
We saw the director. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I want to say Samuel
Bodine?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Well, that was right. I mean, if that is correct, I plucked that from some corner of my brain.
He did the Marianne TV show. No.
Oh, yeah. I've not seen that. Have you seen that?
Yeah, it was all right. There's some moments in it that are genuinely terrifying. I can see, why this film... I see the good parts of this film, but see, where it kind of comes from.
Yeah.
The spooky bits.
Spooky, very spooky. I mean, a good cast as well. We've obviously got Anthony Starr, Homelander himself, and then what's the actress's name? I just recognize her from Mean Girls. Lily
Kaplan, isn't it?
Yeah, Lily Kaplan. I think that's right.
Isn't she from what's the found footage kaiju movie?
Oh,
Cloverfield. I think she's Cloverfield.
Okay. So she's a Cloverfield as well. Oh, she makes it big, or she actually physically blows up?
No, she
turns into a kaiju.
With, eggs.
Oh, Jesus!
You don't remember?
I don't remember that.
No.
But I'm gonna go back and watch it now. If she gets infected with eggs, because I bloody love eggs.
Yeah.
Love eggs. Anthony Starr, obviously, we know him mainly as Homelander. He's kind of doing a concerned dad thing for a while, but then he does revert back into Homelander mode occasionally.
It works, he's genuinely quite scary. There's a bit where he's holding a hammer and he's invited someone to sit down.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's quite terrifying.
I think it's a good film. It's very atmospheric. It is a bit generic in places. Yeah. It feels like it borrows heavily from The Babadook. Malignant, definitely, especially without spoiling anything. The last 30 minutes go very Malignant. It feels like it tries to just dial things up to 11.
I quite like the craziness. It feels like when I picked up the film, coming out recently. Smile. What's another big?
Smile, the Boogeyman.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Just the Rob Savage one.
Yeah. But it feels like it's in keeping with that kind of big budget horror movie.
It's kind of strange though, because obviously it's very, very Halloween centric. I mean, we are currently we're in a pumpkin patch.
Yeah.
Which is lovely, but it's very Halloween centric.
Yeah.
Takes place in and around Halloween. Kind of odd that it's come out now, I guess. We're still a few months out. It feels like the perfect sort of Halloween movie. You just shrugged. Don't give a fuck.
No, I don't know how the release side of it works, but I know what you mean. We are going towards. I feel like we are going towards Halloween. If people say Halloween starts in like August. Yeah.
Halloween is always with you.
Exactly. Yeah.
At all times. Halloween starts in August, is what you say.
I was thinking name game.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
We got some live name game.
Wow.
Off the cuff.
So in this film, spoiler alert, I guess.
Yeah, let's see.
Big twist.
There is a big twist. So yeah, if you haven't seen Cobweb, you won't have seen Cobweb. This is the international premiere.
Yeah.
So yeah, spoiler alert. Scrub forward. Keep it to yourself.
So this film's about a boy who's living with something else in the house, but this something else in the house is like the worst person, like an absolute
Knobweb.
knobhead.
Just knobhead. A knobweb is something completely different. That's what Peter Parker does when he's excited. Have you just done a bloody knobweb now? A knobweb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got any?
There's something living in the walls, and it's ever so messy. Leaving things all around. Doritos, bags, empty bottles of Fanta, all over the place. Slobweb. Yeah, I mean it was off the cuff. I'm feeling under pressure as well. We're standing in the.
I think he keeps his nuts on the bed.
Slop bed. I like that. A lot of people do that. A lot of people sleep on the bed with like their washing for the last 10 days.
There was a time when I snooded.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the film Cobweb, would you recommend it? Would you not recommend it?
I think I'd recommend it because it didn't I mean, as a lot of modern horrors with supernatural elements, especially big budget ones, a lot of them, when they feel generic for me, really lose my interest, and then I've got nothing positive to say about them. I wasn't huge on Smile. I didn't love Boogeyman. Yeah, I struggled a bit with Smile. This one, I feel like I'd recommend it more because I feel like at least it's, even though it's trying to replicate some of the chaotic nature of Malignant, at least it's trying to do something a bit different, and I was kind of like interested to see where it would go. Yeah, and Gary Busey's son's in this as well. You know that?
You told me about.
I told you already. It's the only bit of trivia I've got. Gary Busey's son is in this, and he's like 10 years old. So Gary Busey's obviously got a son, Jake Busey, who's like, I guess 50?
Yeah.
And another son called, and I'm not making judgment on that family situation. I just thought it was an interesting little nugget of information.
I think I definitely recommend the film. I would say it suffers from the same thing that like us suffered from, where they tried to offer like too much of a logical explanation to the supernatural.
I see, yeah.
They didn't need that. Just make it strange. You don't have to.
Yeah. You don't have to say this is where the ghoulie is from, and this is why they're like they are, and this is It
felt like we were like listening to a 80s training montage of how that person got to that situation. You didn't need it. But overall, I actually really liked it.
Yeah, I think the effects are good as well. There's some good effects towards the end as well. And it feels like it's got a bit of a unique, again, even though, sure, it borrows heavily from other things. When I think back to it, when I think of Cobweb, I'll be able to visualize a lot of things where I feel like a lot of other horrors are tad generic. And of course, Homelander, I think it'd be great to see Anthony Starr in more horror, because even though The Boys isn't horror, you would say at all, like, it is horrific. So let's see him being a nasty bastard. I don't want to get typecast, but let's see him being. But if he turned up being nice in the film, I'd be confused.
Yeah, I don't know if he has that in him, to be honest.
No, I don't think so either.
Although he did like play like the gimp on $2.
However, he played a gimp once, so he's done Homelander and he's done Gimp. So that's it. he's done all he needs to do. But yeah, there we go. That's our little mini review of Cobweb live. Well, I say live, you're not listening to this live, but from the international premiere, standing in a little set of Cobweb with loads of pumpkins around. How exciting! Our heads aren't pumpkins. Before anyone gets confused.
Almost. Well, I was going to say my head's almost as big as pumpkin.
Get down in the pumpkin patch. Right. Bye bye. Hello, here with Becci, who appeared on an episode very recently talking about Talk to Me. I forgot for a second. Talking about Talk to Me. So obviously we're catching up with everybody who's been on the show in real life, which is lovely and amazing and very, very exciting and special. What have you been enjoying the fest so far? You've been having a blast?
Yeah, absolutely. It's my first year here as well, so it's been a lot, sort of very busy, very loud, lots of people that know each other, which is really, really nice as well. So it's like catching up with people you sort of know online in real life. So yeah, it's been a blast.
Yeah, exactly.
Lots of great films.
Yeah,
So,
great films. What did you just see?
we just watched Farang, which was phenomenal.
Wow, okay. And it's
Really,
more
really
like an
good.
action thriller, right? Rather than a
Yeah,
horror.
I wouldn't
as
say
such?
it was like an out-and-out horror. Some of the stuff it deals with is quite horrific. Like if you put yourself in that situation, you think, oh god, like yeah, scary. But yeah, it's definitely more an out-and-out like action.
Super
thriller.
violent?
Very, very violent. Very gory. There's some fantastic action sequences in it. That
God.
I think yeah,
I
action
feel like
fans and
I
horror
feel like
fans
I feel
alike.
like I've missed out now. Doesn't feel entirely fair.
Very good.
Any other highlights so far of the first? We're on day 3 at the moment, so the first 3 days. Any highlights?
One of my favourites has been Suitable Flesh. I loved that. It was just silly, horny horror that we don't get much of anymore.
It was
I feel.
incredibly horny. I think sometimes we get horny horror, but it doesn't stay horny. It's
Yes.
like, oh, this is a bit horny, but then we move on to someone else. This was like
90% horny, 10% story.
This is all right sometimes.
Oh, I
you know?
loved it. Really, really good. Really strong performances with it as well. It's not like it just sort of focused on the
Yeah.
silliness without having any like
Yeah.
story or performances to back it up. It was an all-round.
Even the smaller
well-written
roles
film.
seemed really well performed. Didn't
Oh,
they?
absolutely.
And Barbara
yeah.
Crampton still got it in,
An icon.
in many ways, you know?
Her and Heather Graham, I want them in every film.
Yeah.
They should have been in Farang.
It was a combination. They should have been in Farang, just like
everything.
a new action duo of Heather Graham and Barbara Crampton. I'd watch it.
Absolutely.
I'd 100% watch it. Is there anything else you're looking forward to seeing for the last 2 days or so?
I'm looking forward to Transmission, which is on net.
Yeah, that's tonight. So we're gonna head into that like immediately after this, essentially. Yeah.
Quite a bit of sci-fi horror here this year, which is exciting. Again, it's something I don't feel like we've seen for quite a
Yeah.
while, so it's nice to see so many little offerings of it here. Obviously, we've got
Yeah,
Hostile
yeah, yeah.
Dimensions, River, and this as well.
River, yes, of course. Are you going to see River?
I saw that this morning. Again,
Oh, okay.
another one I really, really enjoyed.
We're trying to get in on the second screening of it, but it seemed like that was sold out as well. So obviously another film super popular.
Yeah, I can see why as well. It's another one that I don't think is like an out-and-out horror necessarily.
Yeah,
It's very gentle, very fun. It looks beautiful. So
Yeah.
definitely an
The-
appeal.
Amazing. Well, obviously we'll be catching up plenty more, watching more movies. We still got a couple of days left. It kind of feels like it's flying by.
It really does. But when you're in and out of the screenings and there's so little break in between them.
Yeah, it is a whirlwind. I think that's one thing, because you said it's your first fest. It's our first fest as well, and I think that's one thing I'll say. It does feel like a whirlwind. You kind of feel like you're going to have time to take everything in, but
Yeah,
then you're like in and out. It is pretty intense, yeah. So, well, thank you very much, Becky. Great to see you. Great to see you. Yeah, catch up again soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks a lot.
Hello again. We're here still at FrightFest. Of course we are. I'm here tonight with Emma Cownley, a
Hello.
freelance journalist, a writer, and font of charisma, we've been told.
Yeah, overflowing with it.
We were seatmates at some of the short films this week,
Yes,
right?
that's how we met. That was our meet cute.
That was our meet cute. You're watching the short films. What do you think of those before we go into bigger ones?
I always love the short film showcase. It's pretty much one of my favorite things about FrightFest. It's always good, guaranteed. So I was really delighted with basically every film in it.
I think one that I saw the strongest reaction from both of us sitting on those shows was it Safe, the one with
Yeah.
there's
The
there's a
home
moment
invasion, yeah.
but there is a moment where you think things are going bad and then they get worse, and we're both like squirming in our seats, not knowing where to look.
I couldn't watch the last few minutes of that, I think. And also there was one with a fly in an ear.
That was really good as well.
I knew what was coming with that one, which made it worse, I think. But yeah, beautiful offering, always is.
Amazing little short film, I guess. But you've just come out of a found footage movie, right?
Yes, the Glen Armour tapes. Yeah.
And what did you make of that?
I really, really liked it. I think that they, for a found footage that was kind of inspired by the Blair Witch Project, I think they managed to make a lot of really original choices, things that I wasn't expecting. And obviously, as a genre fan, I've seen it all before, especially when it comes to found footage. So I was surprised by some of the choices, which is good. But also, like, seeing found footage on an IMAX screen
Takes a physical toll, shall we
it
say?
really does. Yeah, the motion sickness is real.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait when it comes out and I can watch it on a normal size screen a little bit further away.
Yeah, so you can actually take the comfort to enjoy the story. And I thought from
Yeah.
seeing the previews of it, some really sharp dialogue that you actually feel like young people these days might say rather than written by old
Well,
folks.
yeah, I think they did a lot of improv, they said. There was a script, but they were allowed to kind of banter about a bit, which was nice.
And they did seem like genuine friends that you see them together.
Yeah, they spent a lot of time developing the characters, and you really kind of got to know them a lot, which made their turmoil even worse because you really came to give a massive shit about them.
True story. So what else are you seeing? We've got a couple of days left. Anything you're looking forward to still coming up?
My main thing that I was really excited for today was River. So
Yeah.
that was like, I feel anything after that's going to be a bonus. I've got Haunted Ulster Live coming up next, which kind of looks like a Most Haunted style thing, but yeah. I've always wanted to know what would happen if that went badly wrong. So I'm excited to find out.
Like real, like Ghost Watch kind of vibes.
Yeah,
about
like,
this as well,
but
right?
actual, there's a ghost and yeah, so
Oh, well,
that will be fun.
we're off to see Transmission, so we're in opposite screens for the next one. So we'll come and swap notes when we're done, I guess.
Yeah, I think we should because Transmission looks really good.
Oh, we'll come and trade notes, and we've already spoken about this off mic, but we'll make it official. We're hopefully going to get you to come and join us on a full episode at some point. Bring your charisma to our feed.
I feel like you need it.
Yeah, I think if there's any notes that anyone has, most of our reviews say more charisma needed, to be honest. So
Yeah, okay.
you could really help us out
Yeah,
with that.
well,
We'll
I
make
will.
it worth your while. We'll talk fees later.
Yeah, perfect.
Well, thank you so much. Enjoy your next one.
You enjoy yours.
I will. And we'll meet up afterwards.
Perfect.
See you later. Bye.
We're here with Mike Hurst, director of Transmission, writer and director of Transmission,
yeah, and
just
financier.
after, and financier.
Financier and producer, yeah.
Okay. I won't be asking you to buy me a drink.
No,
But,
okay.
literally just after the final Saturday night big screen in the IMAX world premiere as
Yeah.
well. World premiere as well. You were sat right behind us as well, so we could, yeah.
Sense my nervousness coming
So I
off.
could sense your nervous
yeah.
vibe.
We made the film scary.
Well, obviously you said you were nervous beforehand. So how are you feeling now?
I feel relieved now. I feel like it went pretty well, and the film played fairly well in the crowd, I think. And I'm just glad it's over. It's a weird feeling. I wish you could make films and not have to show them, but that's not really practical, you know.
It's not incredibly practical, is it? But you've been doing this for a long time as well.
Yeah,
haven't
but
you?
normally I make a film and it comes out, it goes to Sci-Fi Channel or it goes to DVD via Lionsgate or something, and they're like $2 million projects, but there's no premiere, there's no festival screenings, they just go straight to where they're supposed to go. And you hear afterwards if people liked it or not, in terms of you get an email saying, yeah, ratings were quite good. It doesn't mean anything. Whereas here you get to sit in a room with film fans, horror fans, and really get to sense the atmosphere and stuff. Way different experience.
So way more gratifying, I guess.
And more gratifying in this sense, yeah, but obviously way more terrifying as well.
Yeah.
I don't particularly dread the email from Sci-Fi Channel, but I was really dreading today in case people hated it or, I know it's a difficult film. It's a weird film, it flips channels a lot. It yanks you about from place to place, from tone to tone, style to style. And you have to have an audience that's willing to go with it.
Yeah.
So, I'll sit down, I'll see how this ties together, and I want to go on this journey with this thing. It's not an easy film in that way to watch, because it's not kind of you can just half watch. Like some great horror films, you can half watch it,
Yeah.
With Transmission, you kind of have to pay attention because you are being yanked about.
Yeah, of course. I guess you're expecting a lot from the audience then for that
I
reason.
am. I'm expecting it because there's a lot of information, particularly in the documentary section, that you have to pick up on if you're going to understand how it all ties together.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate today how people were listening, and giving it proper due. And I'm flattered by that and I'm gratified by that, because if they hadn't, I use some screeners and give a laugh in the wrong places or so forth. and they lose concentration. And I don't mind that happening because that happens, and that's just the way the audience is. But in this film, they would have missed information.
Yeah,
like would have helped to have. And I think people picked up on the information. I think people understood by the end that this fucking thing shouldn't go out. The transmission shouldn't go out. And when it went out, I feel like people reacted appropriately.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean,
so I'm really grateful about
a
that.
very complex film with a lot of different thematic ideas and that. How was that writing the script and kind of linking everything together and building towards that climax?
Yeah, the script writing was easy. The hard part was the notebook part. You know, I have notebooks that they look like Kevin Spacey's notebook from Seven. You know, they're just full of details and crossings out and asterisks and arrows all over the place. The hard part was working out structurally how they were going to fit together, writing each individual one. I mean, I've written films for Sci-Fi Channel in like 3 days. I mean, I can write films fast about it. So the actual writing process is not particularly difficult for me, but the ideas, the process, and the interlocking process, structural things, they were hard.
Was the writing process different to someone you'd write for the Sci-Fi Channel?
Yeah,
because
of the amount of notes. With Sci-Fi Channel, they give you what they want, and you write what they want, and you do your best to make it good, and you craft it as best you can. But the structure's kind of laid out by the Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah.
In this case, no one's looking over my shoulder. Nobody wants transmission to happen. Only I do. So I have to sit there on my own with no guidance whatsoever and come up with this stuff.
Yeah.
Took some headaches, you know.
Yeah, I can imagine. Is Mosquito going to see the light of day?
Mosquito came out, man.
It did?
Mosquito gets written about all the time. It's a terrible Sci-Fi Channel.
You just got on the watch list.
It's awful.
Okay, it's awful.
Yeah, I wrote it in like 3 days. It's awful.
Like The Fly, but cheaper.
That was-
starring
that was
John
the pitch.
Silverblue.
It stars someone who's famous. I can't remember who he is now.
Well, talking of famous faces, there are a few famous, familiar faces in that film.
Yeah.
Felicia Rose.
Yeah.
Officer Doofy from Scary Movie.
Yes,
All right.
that's right. Yeah. Jake
As soon
Sheridan,
as he turned up, I was like, Officer Doofy,
Yeah.
and yourself as well.
I'm not famous, but the thing is, I had to grow a beard.
I know. I was going to ask you about that.
6
Growing
months.
the beard.
Yeah.
So did you have like a date on the calendar when you like film this scene when your beard is this long?
Yeah, I had a beard monitor, you know, which is called a mirror. And as soon as I got to the point where I could do it, and I literally, what we did was I grew the beard for 6 months. I filmed the beard scene with my brother in his garage.
Yeah.
And then I went off and shaved, came straight back and did the first bit, the clean cut bit. Then we waited a week to get some stubble, and we did the middle bit last.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That was me thinking you've marked a calendar and you're waiting for months and months and months.
I got to the point where that's the most beard I can do, I think.
Oh, okay.
You know,
I see.
puberty didn't hit that hard, so that's the best I can do.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day, yeah.
Maybe one day.
I might have a beard down here, you know. Can't do it.
Obviously, we talked a little bit about distribution. We don't know where this is going to be distributed just yet.
Not yet.
But what is next on the agenda for you?
For me, I've got supposedly have an action movie to do for Tubi. You know who Tubi is?
Yeah, the streaming service. Yeah.
We're supposed to make a film called Blast Radius. It's about a car bomb that gets carjacked.
A car bomb that gets carjacked.
Yeah, it's a weird action movie, you know.
It does sound amazing.
Fun, yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like fun.
So that might be next. But obviously, this is all pending the strike.
Oh no, of course. Yeah. So
nothing's
we'll
going to happen.
see what happens
until
with
that's
that.
over, yeah.
Amazing. Wonderful. Hello, Sunday, day 4.
Day 4.
Day 4, FrightFest.
Still got voices. I'm very impressed.
Yeah, still got voices, but I've not really been screaming at films. I try not to do that.
Well, that one guy in the cinema liked it. Say so to that woman in a creepy way. Real life horror stories, everybody. If a lady approaches you in a cinema and says to you as a seatmate, "Hey, I'm going to scream a lot," it's fine. You can be reassuring and say, "Don't worry if you scream. It's a horror film." But don't finish that sentence with, "Oh, don't worry about it. I like it."
Yeah, because then you can cut the tension with a knife when that happens.
You can cut the tension with a knife. I'm sure he's a very nice man. He probably.
I'm sure he's a nice man. I'm sure he's reliving saying that.
Especially if he listens to this and I've then triggered it. Sorry.
Yeah.
We haven't identified you, Dave Matthews.
So, Dave Matthews from the Dave Matthews Band.
The first name that came up.
We've got, obviously, we do the scheduling got a little bit messed up because we had
someone stayed out drinking.
So we've got to do a bit of a roundup of day 2 and 3.
Yes.
And then obviously a slight preview of day 4. We're going to try and keep it fairly brief because obviously there's lots of stuff to cover. So on day 2, so on Friday, the first thing we saw was the J horror virus. You will have already heard our interview with the directors of that, Sarah and Jasper. So obviously we talked about that a bit, but I really liked it. Obviously I'm a sucker for a documentary. Yeah. Love a good documentary about, and I love J horror.
4 or 5 hours too short for you, I'm sure.
4 or 5 hours too short for me. But yeah, it was great, and I think the people that they got to chat about the films, obviously filmmakers, and also like the actors, like people who played like from the Ring and the Grudge was amazing, and I think it was like a really good definitive. I like the visual style as well. Like it felt very scratchy and VHS-y and creepy, so I think it was suitable.
The big thing I'm taking away from that as a film or a documentary is how positive all of the Japanese filmmakers were about seeing their films being remade in English language. I would have thought the opposite. I think we maybe need to reflect on our own behaviours when we see things, foreign language films being remade into English. I've been definitely guilty of being like, oh, is that even bloody necessary? But apparently, from those people in the they seemed really like honoured almost that someone had done it, and it was like someone who was involved in the ring said, "Oh, and Naomi Watson, I really like her as an actor." So yeah, it was really interesting.
Yeah, I think when some things get remade, it does feel unnecessary. But I guess for something like The Ring, when a director like Gore Verbinski wants to take it on and kind of add his own visual style to it as well, is a little bit more interesting. I think when it's like a shot-for-shot remake and it just feels like the same film but in English, like Quarantine, when they remade Wreck, that feels a little bit unnecessary and probably a little bit derivative.
We've got a documentary about that today.
Yeah, we've got a documentary about Wreck today. So we'll
talk more about that later.
We'll talk more about that later. The next thing I saw on the big screen was a movie called Creeping Death, which was like a sort of Halloween slasher with a very iconic looking villain. That was good. Again, seeing some of these films on the IMAX screen, films that perhaps you would never get the opportunity to see on an IMAX screen, and that the filmmakers haven't even foreseen seeing on something that big, is kind of crazy. And as I said, we're sat really close to the front, so it also feels kind of nuts when we're seeing these things. But yeah, I enjoyed it for the most part. I think there were some decent. I think some of these films occasionally feel like an idea that probably would have suited an hour and 15 minutes or so. When it goes a bit longer, occasionally it can feel a bit like we're just kind of just running around in circles. But still, a well-made film, and I enjoyed that. And while I was watching Creeping Death, you were watching.
Short Film Showcase, the first one?
I think you were watching Black Mold, weren't you?
I was watching Black Mold.
You were. So you've obviously spoken to the director of Black Mold as well. That interview's already taken place on the podcast.
Taken place. I really liked Black Mold. I think it's being distributed reasonably soon as well. So I would recommend picking up really good psychological horror. Really interesting. There's lots of ambiguity for you to take away from it what you will. I love that they did the scouting and the location finding all in abandoned places.
Okay.
Talking to the film, gave them some real challenges in making the movie, but it gave the locations they chose a real organic creepiness to them. I really enjoyed, and great people in it as well. Some really quality performances.
The director seemed lovely as well.
Yeah,
it was really, really great to chat to him.
I think it's really nice. It's one of those things when I enjoyed the film as it was, but then coming away from that and hearing that people were passionate about making it, it gives me more appreciation for the film in itself as well. And what a lovely bunch of members from the cast. We spent some time with them on Friday evening when we were staying out a little bit late. Lovely people. So recommending picking up that as well.
Hell yes. And then pretty much immediately after that, we checked out the short film showcase #1. Loads of good stuff on show. Something called was it Tiny Terror, which was the fly in the air.
The Tiny Terror was
thing.
Really
was that
good.
what it's called?
I think it was
Tiny Terror
or something tiny or something. What I think we'll do is I will commit here and now to I am going to go through the short film showcases, all three. Obviously, with short films, they're available in various locations. So much like I've done for the preview documents here, I'll try and put something together, and where links to see them are available, I'll add those together because there's just so many from these short films.
There's loads. I mean, it was like a couple of hours of just short films, and obviously some really great, some ideas you're kind of like that would probably work really well as a feature. It'd be great to see something like that fleshed out, something more. But other things work really well. There's some things that are like 15 minutes long. It feels like that's plenty of time to.
I loved the one Safe as well. I think it was an incredibly harrowing film where literally myself and Emma, who you've seen an interview with now, we're sat next to each other in that one, and we were literally like trying to look away as best we can. There was such tension in that part of that film as well. But I love a short movie, so I'm going to do what I can to write those up and let our viewers, listeners know where they can seek some of those out, because the beauty of a short film is if you've got 5 minutes, you can take those in.
Exactly. Then we went to the big screening of by big screen, and I mean it was in the super screen again, which is a huge screen. It's like the secondary screen, but it's still absolutely massive. Is it the same size? Did they say
it is the same size? Just the sound setup is different.
Okay,
in that one.
because I mean the sound setup would just blow your eyebrows clean off your face if that was it. So we went to see How to Kill Monsters. Obviously, we've already done some interviews with the cast
and with Lyndsey and with Stewart.
With Lyndsey and with Stewart.
Again,
sold out screening, so big time for everybody involved. Like pretty much the whole cast were there as well, and it was great to see them sort of enjoying sort of like seeing it on the big screen. And yeah, a really fun movie, lots of laughs, practical effects, very silly, very British.
Very much. I think if you're a listener to the show regularly, I mean, we all enjoyed it. You enjoyed it as well, Ben. But I think if there was a film that you said this is a film that Andy's going to enjoy, straight on.
I mean, yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, I know. I've got a type, and that's it. I really enjoyed it.
So predictable.
It was absolutely delightful, and of course, maybe this is why it's a very me movie, because obviously we met the co-writer as well, Paul.
Yep.
From Tamworth.
It's from bloody Tamworth as well. Yeah, you're cut from the same cloth.
Oh yeah.
Flavour of the same man.
As long as it's in Lichfield.
Yeah. Obviously, that was great. And then what did we do after that? Did we watch anything else after that?
How to Kill Monsters, I think.
And we hung around for the everybody going in for the premiere of Werewolf Santa. We've obviously already seen Werewolf Santa, so
met with Arella met with Emily briefly outside as well. Got to speak to those guys, and then.
So I guess even though
we headed out for some drinks. With,
So even though we didn't attend Werewolf Santa, we did see Werewolf Santa in the lead up to the festival, and I think it's going down really well. Obviously, people are suckers for a title, and that's drawing people in. People are just going in, and I think it sold out 2 screenings. Is that right?
I mean, that's it. We're very quick to say didn't see it on the big screen, not because we were lack of interest, quite simply because it sold out. And
exactly, it sold out, so it was difficult to get in on that one, and we don't want to be just like forcing our way in there, going, "Come on, we're the horror hangout guys. We'll sit on the floor."
Little press tickets in a hats, those little cards. But I think with Werewolf Santa in particular, you've heard us talk to the people behind it, but just to give our take on it, it's great indie filmmaking. I love it. It's just you've got a fun idea, you want to make it, no one's taking it too seriously, and that you want to make a low budget creature movie with people that you like and things like that. And we've worked with Emily on audio stuff as well. Always set up for something. She's in just a good laugh.
Hell yeah, most definitely. And then moving on to Saturday, yesterday, so day 3. We attended another short film showcase.
We weren't late.
We did make it. We weren't late. Yeah, earlier in the podcast, if you were worried for us being late for the short film showcase, we weren't. We made it. I feel like they waited for us to attend.
As we sat down, the CEO of that cinema place, he wrapped up. He's obviously been filling time for us.
Yeah.
We took our seats, and then literally the title cards came up.
There we go. Some good ones, some familiar faces that we've seen in films we've covered. FrightFest and for FrightFest Glasgow, a movie called Red Lake, a short film called Red Lake, which was really good. Knock Knock, I want to say it's called Knock Knock, the one with the door.
Knock Knock, and then in brackets Knock again.
Knock 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 was great. It was like a comedy horror about a door with a demon behind it.
Yeah, some good bizarro fiction, some good comedic elements to it, much like How to Kill Monsters. I feel was a very Andy thing. Knock 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 is.
Yeah,
Luke Kondor,
it's pretty Luke Kondor flavored.
Put into a bottle.
We need to find some Ben Aronson flavored. Rule.
No, Ben, you're not. Whatever. I think Ben, you're a valuable person, far better than.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad you said that. I feel better about myself.
Maybe there'll be a film about a handsome and funny man on today.
Yeah, the story of my life. Wait, the Mancunian man. That's the documentary. We'll be chatting about Mancunian man tomorrow. So obviously the short film showcase, there was some great stuff. Again, some really interesting ideas and thematic stuff going on.
Then you went and saw Cobweb, or Luke went caught up with Cobweb.
Yeah, Luke went to see Cobweb. I'd already seen Cobweb. It was the international premiere. Obviously, we've already done a review of that, so you've already heard it, or scrub back for that one, which was interesting. Again, really cool to attend like a big premiere or something like that. Sort of a brand new experience for me. As well, so cool.
After that, it was Pandemonium.
Pandemonium, in the big screen with Quarks.
Directed by artist and director and writer
Quarks. Probably not his birth name.
No, it's Alexandra.
No, it sounds like Elon Musk and Grimes, that kid they had. Called Quarks, or like 0.7x.
Name aside, and the behaviours of billionaires and their ridiculous high, big divorced energy. I really liked Pandemonium. Yes, so there was a fantastic story that Quarks, the director, told us on his birthday of all things.
Yeah, 50 years old. Happy birthday, Quarks.
That they began filming in a sunny day on this opening scene, which begins like an accident and then descends into like a limbo environment.
Yeah.
And it was a really hot, sunny day. It had been like mid-high 20s there for the whole week before. And then just freakily over the time they were filming, it went down to like -10, and they had like snowstorms and blizzards, and the people in the town were saying, you know what, this hasn't happened here since the beginning of records. And it makes for like a really effective scene as well. And also knowing that was just happenstance, really interesting.
That's kind of crazy.
And it's got some great performances in it. It's got some good horror. It's funny in places as well.
Yeah.
The star of it, and apologies, I don't have the name. There's some little almost anthology pieces in the middle.
Yeah, it's very much like an anthology, and I honestly feel like if it was marketed as an anthology, maybe because I didn't know anything about it at all, but like if I knew it was maybe some sort of anthology talking about sort of like life and death and being in limbo. Or
and the star of it is this crazy little girl that's in the middle section.
Crazy little girl. She was very convincing,
phenomenal,
as like a genuinely scary.
Yeah,
really unhinged.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Pandemonium. I would recommend. That's maybe one of my surprise hits, because quite a lot of things I've enjoyed, I went in knowing more about them and expecting to enjoy them as much as I did. But this one, I didn't know what to expect at all.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
And then later in the day, there was a screen of the Glenarma tapes, which we'd already seen. I know you mentioned that with.
I talked to Emma about it.
Yeah. We both saw that. I found footage, Irish. I thought it was pretty good. You know, some of these found footage. I mean, watching on a big screen probably would have been intense. But some of these found footage films, they only have legs for a little while, and maybe after like 45 minutes to an hour, you're a bit like, okay, let's wrap up now. Well, I was fully invested in this. I think like the wraparound story was good. Everything that kind of built up to it was good. The actors, I think, were good as well. I think that is very, very key to these things. That
we definitely, a lot of their work was improvised as well. So
yeah, and I think it felt that way.
A lot more genuine dialogue between them. Doesn't sound like
because this is
like a 50-year-old wrote it.
Yeah, I'm not being super negative, but I think sometimes with some one or two of these indie horror productions, if the dialogue doesn't feel real, and it doesn't feel genuine, it can really suffer. It can really take you out of it. And I think as soon as you establish that the dialogue feels good, the characters feel real, then I think that's like half the battle. I think everything that comes along with it, you're kind of like, okay, I'm along for the ride. If the dialogue's dodgy, it honestly just feels like a nail in the coffin.
I also got one of my favourite parts about any found footage movie, when you have a camera that camera person who is fundamentally your point of view. And then when you get to see them, it's like Steve Priestley from Movies, Games and Videos playing up. When you actually see what they look like, and you built a picture in your mind.
I don't think we're going to build up any sort of picture for this guy. I mean, a very distinctive looking guy with his little round blue glasses. And then obviously to close out the night, we've already spoken to the director of Transmission.
Oh, we've got one more for Transmission. It was heard yesterday as well.
Oh, my God, yeah, sorry.
An interview with Stephen from the Heard director. Haven't managed to catch them live here yet, which is a shame, because I'm hoping we'll catch them before the weekend is out. But
there were some zombies wandering about in the foyer. I think I did suggest getting an interview with a zombie, but I could kind of see how it was going to go. Wouldn't be able to control that interview.
He was method.
Andy. He was method. He was fully involved. I reckon just infected. Fully infected.
You might have just got a poorly person. So I really enjoyed her.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really interesting take on the zombies thing. And again, I can't sit here. I think I touched on it briefly in the interview, but we might have been off mic when we did it. There is a nice bit of the character development and everything like that I enjoyed throughout, but the thing that really won me over with her is there is a reveal that comes within the movie that is, I think, timed to perfection on when it becomes obvious to the characters. And much like we'll talk about Transmission in a minute, I think there's a great skill in a film when you have your audience work out the twist or what's going on or the reveal moments before the characters on screen do, and it's coming through like, and it's done in like a really nice, subtle way with the way some audio in particular works, and that really like took a film that I was enjoying, and would have enjoyed and would have said, oh, if you like this type of movie, go and watch, to something I thought, that's really clever, that's really smart, I'm going to tell people about going to pick this movie up. And I know they had a popular screening, so good on them. Hopefully we'll catch them before the weekend.
Definitely, it'd be good to chat to them.
Paths cross.
100%. And yeah, we closed out yesterday with Transmission, which was like an 11 p.m. film. Good to go to a late screening, because obviously that's the first time we've really done that at the festival so far. And then we caught up with the director afterwards as well, and found out about that. This is like a sort of channel hopping sci-fi. Well, it's got like a sci-fi story within it, but like a channel hopping. How else would you describe it?
It's not. I mean, I guess technically it's like a screen movie, right? Because it's all, you're watching things that are unfolding on television. But I like the connectivity of it.
Yeah,
it was really interesting. Were you talking to Mike yesterday as well, and him doing the Q&A beforehand? For someone who has done a lot of franchise and very directed stuff by companies who have an idea of what they want, and he's having to work into a framework and then doing
thing. So he said he's made like Pumpkinhead 4, House of the Dead 2, and he's written a lot of scripts for like sci-fi channel movies.
And a really honest guy to it as well. Like he's not saying against it.
So did it for money.
This is a labor of love. So like he was very open in saying, I did this for money, and you do what you can with the time that you have.
I remember how bad House of the Dead was. I mean, I wonder what House of the Dead 2 is like.
I've not seen it, but now we've met him.
This is the thing. Now you've
Mike and I like him. I feel like I now want to go and check out more of his work.
Yeah, that is the thing. So yeah, this was interesting. There's like an interesting connectivity between like some interwoven stories about like a film director and some sort of like folk horror stuff as well, like satanic rituals, and then like the sci-fi element as well, and the technological element, and then like the real life element as well, where it's like news broadcasting, for example.
And I absolutely agree with something that Mike said. It's like, it was obviously phenomenally like a great honor for him to see it on the big screen in a festival, but this is exactly the type of film that you almost want to stumble across by accident at night time.
Yeah, I know.
This is the chance. This is like when you're.
He was right behind us as well.
Yeah,
like we were watching the film. This is what was bad, because obviously occasionally I do want to lean over to Andy and just make a joke, not like being mean about the film, but like just make a joke about something that's happened or an in joke that we've got. And I did feel a bit bad kind of leaning over, because I was thinking, he's not thinking we're making fun of it.
And it's really strange, like a director with any number of releases under his belt, like by many metrics, a very successful film
he
director.
said he's been doing it for like 25 years. Like, and he lives in LA, so
really well experienced.
Surely he's got a bit of buds.
Living in LA, like he's a professional filmmaker, but to see someone nervous about the reaction to a film because it's something that he has made.
Said he'd been the most nervous for this one,
and that he really cared about. I think it was really phenomenal to see, and it's the.
Yeah.
If I might be so wanky as to say, the human stories behind the movies, I found it to be.
It's not wanky. It's
fascinating.
It's pretty wanky.
We'll become a professional horror podcast. Yeah,
we will. So yeah, and then today, first thing we're going to see today is the Wreck documentary, which obviously we briefly touched upon. Terror Without Pause. To be fair, I've not read up much about this. I just know it's a documentary about Wreck, so I'm assuming it's going to be about the making of it, or maybe like the cultural impact of it, how it was remade.
We'll see how they feel
English.
about the remake.
Yeah, they might be absolutely fuming. And then there's a few things on the main screen that we've also got that I've got down for going to see, but I'm not sure.
Piper is today.
Piper,
we caught that in
the story of Billy Piper's life.
Swindon's own Billy Piper.
Honey to the Bee.
It's not that, unfortunately. It's about the other Piper, a less positive Piper in people's lives, the Pied Piper.
Oh, not the Pied Piper.
Not the
That's
people
my edit.
who did that song about being in Ibiza. DJ Pied Piper, not him either. The Pied Piper of
not someone who lays pipe for a living.
No.
And I don't mean that in a sexual connotation. I mean like actually under the road or something. But also,
it's the Pied Piper, that fella who, in many ways, very positive in the first instance, gets through all his rats, but if you mug him off and don't clear his invoices, he is going to take all the kids off.
Yeah. Off a cliff.
Yeah.
Does he jump off the cliff first and then the kids follow him?
I think he takes.
He's got a parachute.
I think he takes them into a cave, and the cave seals forever.
Oh.
If I know my mythology correctly.
Bloody
But
hell.
The Pied Piper in this sense, we'll talk about it when we do the wrap-ups. We'll cover it, but Liz Hurley making an appearance in a
Elizabeth Hurley. That's 2 Austin Powers love interests so far at this festival.
Beyonce's in something tomorrow.
If Beyonce's in something tomorrow, then we know that there's an underlying pattern that we need to.
We turn out like we'll talk to the curators of the festival and say,
We know your
Austin
game.
Powers. I'll show them my drink spot, and if they can't resist saying how much they love gold, then we'll know we've got them.
I love gold. And then a couple of other things in the main screen. Again, things I don't actually know that much about. Cold Meat, Raging Grace in the main screen. And then later on this evening, the documentary Mancunian Man, The Legendary Life of Cliff Twemlow, directed by Jake West. I've actually already seen it, so I'm going to hopefully get a chance to speak to Jake West about it. Because it is like a fascinatingly weird documentary about somebody where you're like, why has this person been chosen as the subject matter of a documentary? And it would be interesting to find out how and why that happened, whether Jake West actually knew him growing up or something. And I don't know. Yeah, that's interesting. And I don't know if we got anything else that we might be checking out on any other screens. There's a documentary, Enter the Clones of Bruce Lee, which again I've already seen, which is really interesting. Like after Bruce Lee died, all the movies were making Bruce Lee, Dragon Lee, even Jackie Chan to a degree. And then this evening on one of the Discovery screens is the movie Sympathy for the Devil with Nicolas Cage. With Nicolas Cage and the RoboCop guy, Joel Kinnaman.
Okay.
Yeah. So that could be interesting. So
lots more to take in for day 3, and
so we better get ourselves
to Leicester Square Theatre.
Luke and I this morning have seen The Seeding, directed by Barnaby Key.
I think it's Barnaby Key. Spelled like Quay.
Say it like that. Yeah, I thought it was really interesting. So it's a story about a man who gets locked/trapped in a desert, and then finds himself trapped at the bottom of this pit, sort of harassed by some very bad boys. With
Very
a woman.
naughty boys.
Yeah. What did you reckon, Luke?
I was, to be honest, when I read the synopsis, I was expecting something a bit more lowbrow, I guess. But within like the first 20 minutes, like it's so visually nice, and so the audio is like perfectly atmospheric and haunting. I was kind of blown away, I'll be honest. And then it just got better from there. I thought it was absolutely solid.
I feel like we've seen a lot in films over the last couple of years. Films like Barbarian that are a lot about the female experience of walking into like a trap. And I think unless a film would have done that, they would have had a female protagonist, and I think it would have been a grubbier movie for what's going on with that one and the themes that then play out. It was very interesting to see like the male psychology of a guy who's a part of society who then is trapped away from it, and then the purposes that he's ultimately been brought there for, and how he reacts to it. I think it was a nice change to the opposite narrative that we sometimes see. Not that I shouldn't see more women in films, Luke. I'd be quite hastened to add. More, plenty of it. But it was nice to see that theme tripped onto its head, and like how this very, I guess, very capable male character responds to being like powerless in this situation.
Yeah.
And it's really well played.
We see like the devolution of man to some extent. It starts off, it's about a guy who gets trapped somewhere, and we'll get too many details. But as he's trapped there, he kind of, by the end of it, he's pretty much like a Neanderthal.
Yeah.
And the actor, Scott Hayes, really goes there. They were talking in the Q&A after about how after he performed it the next day, he had bruises all over his body. He
really hoarse, he'd been shouting and screaming,
running on 4 legs, on hands and feet.
Yeah, and genuinely, really like viscerally acted as well. And like the thing is, like in the early phases of it as well, like he's clearly a character under stress. He's not always the best guy. Like right when he turns to being angry or almost like threatening, like, but then you really do sympathise with him as the situation evolves as well. Really interesting film.
I felt like there was a much shoddier version of this film. I guess like more, honestly, I don't want to say lowbrow, but I guess reaching for easier fruit. Whereas I felt like this film is actually quite mature.
Yeah.
Like surprisingly sure. Yeah, I've got a name game if you want to do a bit.
Oh, go on.
So it's about Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
As a baby.
Yeah. Is it called The Weeding?
The Weed Thing.
Weed Thing.
Yeah.
Very good. How about then? I'll tell you what. A little bit later, the sequel to this film.
Yeah.
The baby that is a baby that is born. Goes through a couple of real bad sleepless nights because their gums hurt.
Oh, the teething.
The teething. Very good.
I don't know really well.
One more then.
Okay.
Someone in the events, this guy's stuck down a big hole in the desert.
Yeah.
He's ever so cross about it, but he's not going to lose his temper or shout and scream. He just sits and really sort of festers on it.
The seething.
The seething. Very good. I love a bit of impromptu name game. Straight off the top of the dome. We're professionals.
Yeah. I get who rating the film? Rate good or rate bad?
Rate good, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, rate good.
Yeah.
It was really, really good.
Yeah,
It's properly rate good.
I think they didn't have news on distribution yet. I think they said they were further along with US distribution, Europe still to be arranged. I would recommend people keep an eye out for this one. I think it's got a lot to say. I think it's an interesting movie. We weren't able to catch the director or the actor because to be honest, we were running off for lunch. It was time for a little break. But if we do catch them while we're still here over the next day or so, yeah, see if we can't grab them for a few words because really interesting film, I think. Yeah. Well,
thumbs up.
Thanks, Luke. Thumbs up. Hello there, Andy Conduit-Turner back at FrightFest once again, and I'm joined by a very, very special guest who's just watched Wreck. Horror, terror without pause.
You'll say that, and on the audio version of it, people are like, who could this possibly be? It could be anybody in the sphere of horror, and it's just going to be me again.
Oh, you know what? People should be excited to speak to one Mr.
Mr. Ben Harrington. I got my own mic there. Sorry. Mr.
Professionals.
Ben Harrington.
Ben, how did you find it? How was this documentary? I know you're a big documentary fan. Did this the mustard when it came to?
I think the mustard was well and truly cut with this. It was solid. I love a documentary about a particular franchise. This was mainly about like one film, Wreck, of course. Also the impact it had on Spanish horror and Spanish language movies in general, and the way it sort of like permeated. That's the right word.
Yeah.
Pop culture.
Acceptable. Yeah.
Acceptable.
Good choice.
Acceptable. And yeah, it was really interesting. Obviously, the cast and crew, the sort of low budget filmmaking stuff that went behind it. Obviously, it's a found footage film, and I think it inspired a lot of stuff that came out. When did it come out? 2007? Something like that?
Yeah, or maybe even earlier.
So it's only like 15, 16 years old. So it's kind of crazy that a documentary is being made about that film just that many years later. But yeah, it's fantastic. I think it obviously is one of the best, and how a lot of the effects were done. There were so many a lot of the cast were kept really on their toes. The directors were just throwing things at them. There were a lot of jumpy moments for the crew. For this cast, sorry, so obviously they were experiencing things in real time. Yeah.
So we spoke earlier about the J horror virus and the reception that it had when it was remade by the original filmmakers. Did this documentary touch on that at all?
It did, yeah, and I was looking forward to that. So obviously the movie Quarantine, the American remake of Wreck, and yeah, again they're pretty positive about it. They're happy they got remade, although they weren't involved in it at all. I think they got invited over to LA when it was being filmed, and they attended the set. Apparently they had some lovely ice cream, which we're going to do.
Yeah, we are going to have some lovely ice cream after the real life horror yesterday when the ice cream was closed.
The ice cream was closed. I think only by minutes we missed the ice cream. So that is a
Not
real
today.
life horror.
We're doing it 4 hours earlier today to not make the same mistake
There
twice.
wasn't anybody.
Can't get fooled again.
The filmmakers for Wreck Terror of Apples aren't actually here, so we couldn't grab them to talk about it. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I think it was like a comprehensive look at the film. And it's interesting to see a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff, because on the surface it feels like obviously a very, very effective and a great found footage movie. But you're kind of like, okay, I can kind of understand how they made that. They just pointed the camera and went with it. But so much went into it, like the effects. Obviously, the actor who plays the big, scary, obviously slight spoilers for Wreck if you've not seen it before, the big, scary final boss lady in the attic.
Horrible zombie Nan.
Horrible zombie, not even Nan, just like horrible, like a Lisa Trevor, essentially.
Yeah.
Terrifying. And obviously he's big and gangly, way more gangly than Doug Jones. So to see him going through the makeup process and that was pretty crazy and terrifying. And yeah, they talk a bit about the sequels as well. Wreck 2, but Wreck Genesis, third one. I think there's a fourth one, but I don't think I've seen the fourth.
It's this you talking about live. Is this we going to trigger us getting Wreck 2 on the watch list sometime soon?
I think we should, yeah, because we talked about doing more sequels. We did Wreck a long time ago in the first sort of like batch of episodes, I think, like in the first year of the podcast.
Johan, were your first guest?
Johan joined us on the Wreck episode. Maybe he was the first guest, yeah. So yeah, we probably go back and watch Wreck 2, and I think Wreck Genesis is probably a good film to watch as well. That's a good horror hangout movie.
We'll complete horror one of these days.
We will complete horror, and we're getting ever so closer by the minute. So
I reckon we're 75%. Sorry, Luke.
Yeah, I'm nice.
75% complete is what we are.
Yeah. I haven't done the maths, but that's the number I'm going with.
Yeah, and luckily they've stopped making horror films now, so we'll catch up eventually.
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness they have. But yeah, in terms of read good and read bad, I'd say read good if you're into this sort of stuff. I'm kind of a sucker for anything. I feel for any sort of documentary about any film being made, because I just love seeing the process behind the scenes, even if it's a film I'm not so necessarily a fan of. And Wreck I am a fan of, so hell yeah.
How many hours would you have had this documentary be?
Oh, I think it was the perfect length. Which I'm always a fan of. I love the perfect length, Andy.
Well, understanding you can indeed find the perfect length or length.
You can. I think the hour long, the ones that are dozens of hours long, maybe not dozens, that cover franchises, that makes total sense. This is just a single film, so single film documentary. It shouldn't really be longer than the actual film itself.
Who do a podcast like that?
Who would do a podcast that's longer than the film itself? An absolute madman, or more than one madman.
Mad Men's.
Men with Men. Yeah, so check it out if you get a chance. Don't know when it's going to be available streaming or on any other service.
We'll keep you posted. We got a finger on the pulse around here, so
finger is on the pulse. But yeah, we're about to go into a new screening, and I guess we'll do a little roundup review. I know we were doing the roundups in the morning, but I think now we're getting to the point where we've got a bit of free time, so we're going to try and do some roundups as we go.
But of course, you, the listener, this will all be seamless, edited together.
Yeah, time is a flat circle, but yeah, thank you.
Thanks very much.
All the best.
Hello there. We've just watched, for me, what has been one of the screenings of the festival so far. We've just finished Raging Grace. I'm here with one of the stars of the movie, Jaeden. Jaeden, that was amazing. And I've just heard it's your first film.
Yeah, it's my very first film, and I had no practice on drama schools or anything like that.
That's incredible. And that is and I wanted to find out, what was it like working with Paris? Was he a tough boss? Did he make you work hard?
Yeah, he definitely pushed me to my best that I can do. But the way he pushed me was like, oh, you have to do it. He was very supportive with it, and he was very kind.
Oh, that's really nice to hear. So your character in the film is a bit of a prankster, plays a few tricks on people. Is that like you in real life, or no?
Not really, but sometimes I do like to play some games.
On your poor mom?
And my dad. Mostly on my dad, though. I can't do it to my mom.
Of course. Of course, you've got to behave to your mom. Well, Jaeden, I don't want to keep you too long because I'm sure there's lots of people that want to say hello to you, but incredible first film. You saw it here first, everybody. Jaeden's going to be an enormous star, I'm sure. You're going to see her in a lot more horror movies when you grow up, or?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, a new horror icon coming right up. Thank you so much, Jaeden. Have a lovely evening. Thank you.
We're here with Paris, the director of Raging Grace, which we've just seen in IMAX. The reaction from the crowd. I mean, how do you feel after that reaction from everybody?
I'm lost for words. I'm so blown away. Emotional, actually. I didn't expect it to be received that warmly.
The emotion was insane in that screening. You could really, really feel it from everybody.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Wow. Okay. Yeah. You see, this is going to take me a while to process, I think.
Yeah.
I usually like very quiet places, so this is a lot for me right now. But I do feel the love. It's very overwhelming, but yeah, gosh, I had no idea it was going to be. This is not what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah.
No.
It's gone past your expectations. Then would you say this whole experience today?
Yeah. Do you know what? Right, when you write a story that is so critical of British colonialism, when you rail against new and old white power, I have literally lost sleep thinking about the UK premiere and the London premiere. So to hear it from the audience and how much they responded to it, how much it resonated with so many people.
Was that because you weren't
sleep? Yeah.
Was that because you weren't sure what the response was going to be?
Yeah.
Because it's such a powerful film, a personal film. Is that why you weren't sure? Because you've been so close to it for so long.
Think of it this way. I was essentially taught to look for white approval my entire life. And my parents were like, just look, don't bite the fucking hand that feeds you. And this film does everything my parents told me not to do. And I feel nervous that there are people who are going to be like, well, fuck you, man, for this film. And I feel there are some people who are already responding in that way. So there is that kind of fear in there. You know, it terrifies me. But, you know, I'm galvanized by people's love and response to this film. So blown away, man.
You feel like the best art and the best films are supposed to create these sort of conversations?
Yes.
Supposed to really have that impact where, sure, some people are going to be offended by it. Some people are going to disapprove of it. But it's worth it for what else, for the other side of the coin, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, you really hit the nail on the head there. Throughout the whole writing process, so much of what I was thinking was, do not hold back. Like, I have to be able to work past a lot of my fear and just write what I feel my heart and my gut needs. Like, I honestly, in those first few pages, I was like, this isn't a film for me right now. This is just what I need to see and what I need to happen. It's kind of like, a diary entry going public in a way. That's kind of what it's felt like in a strange way. I really want it out there, but I'm afraid of what people might think. But I am, I've got some shit to work through, man.
Yeah. Well, 3 films worth of rage.
It's coming.
It's coming, yeah. But for something that you said came from such a place of rage, the fact that the film, of course, those feelings, I can see how they're being portrayed on screen, but it's definitely not the feeling you take away with you at the end.
I don't want that for people.
It feels almost like a cathartic experience. Did it feel like that, the filmmaking process?
I need this film to be a cathartic spectacle for people who sit down and watch it. It can't just be about rage. It can't just be about trauma. You have to walk away feeling electric, fizzy, with joy, with something. Whatever it is, I need you to feel different from the moment you walked in and the moment you leave.
And I think I do. It's definitely affected me. And so far, it's my film of the festival so far. And so congratulations on a huge achievement. Oh, what we did here. Yeah. I was confused for a second. I was like, which way am I going?
Thank you.
But thank you so much for Paris for taking the time to talk to us. Congratulations
My
again.
pleasure.
Enjoy the rest of the festival. And thank you.
Hello, and welcome back to On the Red Carpet, Horror Hangout, still here at FrightFest. I'm with, of course, the multi-talented Mr. John Crinan. Nice to see you again.
Good to see you, sir.
You've been to see a couple of films that we weren't able to catch so far in the lineup tonight. So I know one of them you are struggling, even with your mastery of words, to find words to describe T-blockers. What can you tell us about it?
T-blockers, so the 2 films that I've seen tonight that you guys haven't, T-blockers and 8 Eyes. I have no idea how I'm going to describe either of them, honestly. I'm literally just out. The door that I saw them in is right there next to us, and I've walked out to talk about them. T-blockers was a wonderfully sweet, kind of a weird way. It's charming. Charming is the best way to
love a
describe
charming
it.
movie.
It's it describes itself as, I don't want to spoil anything because I have no idea. Obviously, these films are just being premiered now, and I'm liable to spoil them, so I'll stay relatively light on details. T-blockers, charming, wonderful film, so surprisingly great, made by an 18-year-old.
Oh wow!
I believe it was their 4th film. Yes, thank you. I'm being reminded off screen that it was their 4th film at 18. and it's
in many
so
ways as
good.
depressing as it is inspiring.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And Eight Eyes, I was really I knew nothing about either film going in. Eight Eyes, I was really interested in because of Vinegar Syndrome's involvement. Most of my Blu-ray collection is probably a Vinegar Syndrome title. So, and this was their first, as I understand it, their first movie that they kind of were involved in the production of it from the start. It's a Serbian film, although I've just realised that's obviously a title of a movie that we all know
But
about.
not that one.
Not that one.
Not that at all.
And it's kind of like one of those movies when the credits roll, you will just ask yourself, what have I just watched? It's trippy, it's weird, it's violent, it's really dark, but kind of wonderful. It's all those wonderful things that a horror movie is. It surprised me. I had no idea literally every minute of the movie where it was going to go. I couldn't call it. We've all watched hundreds and hundreds of films. It's so often we know exactly what we're in for. We can call it. Eight Eyes is nothing like that. Yeah, wonderful.
So in both cases, would you recommend anyone listening puts these on their watch list?
100%. Yeah, definitely see them.
Amazing. But I could not let you go without asking you to look to the future of FrightFest, where perhaps we'll be seeing you here, because you're working on some short films yourself, right?
I am working on a couple of short films just now. We're shooting one next week. We're doing the final shooting block next week. We haven't announced really anything. Anyone who follows me on Instagram might have seen a couple of little clips in my stories, but we haven't posted anything yet. We've shot some of it. We're finishing shooting it next week. It's going to be a very short 4-minute film, very kind of schlocky, buckets of blood, Scottish horror movie. I saw T-Blockers and Eight Eyes with Daisy Light, who's going to be doing the makeup effects. The stuff that she's been doing already is great. The crew I've got together around me is wonderful. I can't really talk too much about it other than if anyone just jumps onto my social media, they will
place to follow it.
They will see some things very, very soon. And obviously, the big hope would be to see it on a massive screen like here at FrightFest. But who knows what will happen? Who knows what the future will be for my little short film? But I'm very happy with it.
And you picked a wonderful location for it, if I may say so. The fair say itself.
Yeah, Dundee in Scotland. I had to, Scottish guy. We need some more Scottish horror in the world, and that's my flag, and I'm going to fly it.
Thank you so much, John. A pleasure as always. See you next film.
It was my pleasure. Thank you.
Bye for now.
Hello, here with Jake West, the director of Mancunian Man, The Legend of Cliff.
The Legendary Life of Cliff Tremblay.
That's correct.
It's just that there was a misprint on their on their booking thing. But the actual title is Cliff, The Legendary Life of Cliff Tremblay.
That's rude. Misprints are rude, aren't they? Mancunian Man.
Mancunian Man. That's the main title.
Okay, Mancunian Man is the main title.
Mancunian Man, Legendary Life of Cliff Tremblay.
So you've just witnessed the premiere of it on the big screen, on the IMAX screen, the biggest screen possible to witness any film on. So how was that? How do you feel? Are you feeling relieved? Are you feeling happy? Exhilarated?
I'm feeling delighted because obviously after a screening, as a filmmaker, it's you understand whether the audience has enjoyed the film or not. So before you show it, you don't know because you've never seen it with an audience, and this is the world premiere. So I'm absolutely delighted because it went down great, and I believe everyone seems to have really responded well.
Everyone seems to have responded well. Everyone seems to be.
And it's a lovely story. I think
it is a lovely story.
And
it really is
funny and heartwarming. And
funny, heartwarming, bizarre,
and every filmmaker can relate to this story. I think.
Oh right, okay. Was that kind of what drew you to this story originally? Because as a filmmaker, you kind of thought.
Well, yeah. I discovered Cliff when we were doing the Video Nasties documentaries back in the 10 years ago. Because GBH was a Video Nasty, so that's how I knew about Cliff. But I didn't know much about the rest of his films, even though CP had told us about them. So it was only when I started researching the documentary 3 years ago that journey began, when I really found out a lot more. And the more I found out, the more we interviewed people, the more archives I could.
The more you were kind of like digging up. It's kind of like digging up this lost story, I guess.
Yeah, and it's also beginning to sort of find out who he was and get a feeling for, that. But you only get that from talking to people who knew him, and so these people, you can see the kind of connection they have with the guy.
Of course, yeah.
It's very real. And it's not like it's something with a little bit of magic in it still. I hope.
Definitely a bit of magic. Now, how do you think he would feel?
I think
like about this and
what
witnessing this.
I think Cliff, I think he would be absolutely delighted. I think for him, knowing that he was finally on the Empire Leicester Square, one of the biggest screens in the world, that would be a delight to him, and I think he would be over the moon on that.
Well, congratulations. Obviously, it's a quintessentially British story as well, isn't it? And it's not necessarily like a big Hollywood story either, is it? Because sometimes these documentaries can kind of show you the glitz and the glamour and the nice side of things like this, but you weren't afraid to show all of the kind of the sort of the danger and all of the things going wrong and
but that's what people are interested in. Nobody gives a shit about an EPK press kit. It was great working with them. It's all bullshit. Don't say it was a lawyer has to sign off on it. That's rubbish. The audience don't want that. Corporations want that. This is about a guy, working class guy, who was a bouncer who decided to make films in Manchester with his mates, people around him. And that's why there's an honesty in that, which is refreshing in a corporatized world of kind of bullshit statements, disclaimers. These do not reflect the views of all of that stuff. Everyone's sick of that in reality. But corporatization means that we have to put up with it. But hey, this is the tonic to that.
Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, and I'm so glad I discovered it because I didn't know anything at all.
Well, in a way, that's
nothing.
But in a way, a lot of people don't know anything about it, and in some ways, that's also might stop people from watching it because I don't know about him, so but that's why you should watch it. Because it's good to watch things you don't know things about. 100%. Because you're going to learn something.
I agree. Brilliant. Thanks so much, Jake. Again, congratulations.
Okay,
Jake's going to be joining us for a future episode talking about Phantasm 2.
Phantasm 2, yeah.
so
And maybe 3 and 4 if that goes well.
And maybe 3 and 4, if it goes
we'll
well.
see.
You won't be sick of us by then. Hello.
Hello again. Here we are, with it's the classic last day of a festival. We've been kicked out of our Airbnb, so we're camping around our bags right now.
Camping around our bags, living out a suitcase.
Like Alan Partridge.
Yeah, pretty much. Final day of FrightFest. How are you feeling?
Really good. A bit tired, a bit jaded. My voice is holding up. It's not too bad.
Jaded. So we didn't do like a wrap up really yesterday. Obviously, we did some of the reviews as we were doing, throughout the day, and I think we're going to do a bit more of that today.
We're going to catch one of the things that we saw or were timed yesterday, and then we're going to do the ones as we do them today to try and get through everything.
Yeah, that's right. So I guess we should just mention a couple of the things that we saw yesterday. I know we've already done our interview with the star and director of Raging Grace, but let's just talk about it a little bit. Probably my film of the festival, I'd say, so far. Obviously, there's still a day to go, but probably my film of the festival. Not necessarily a straight-up horror, but add horror elements. But yeah, what did you think?
It was really good, and I struggle for words, and you know me, I usually don't. But I think it's very difficult for two white guys to have like this depth of feeling and opinion that the filmmakers brought to it and the passion they had for it. But such an incredible story, really charged with some genuine frustration, some real moments of sadness. There's some great tension, some great character work. There's things to reflect on in this movie, and I really do hope it finds an enormous audience because it's such a powerful story. I wasn't expecting to have that kind of emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, an emotional roller coaster. And then hearing the stories behind the film, what inspired it, and everybody that was involved, it was like emotional. It was like you could feel the emotion in that screen when they were talking about it.
And not just saying it while we were meeting the people yesterday. I expect Paris, the director, like actors that were in it, like Jaeden, who was their first feature as well, first film of any kind, not a film school kid. They surely have incredibly promising careers ahead of them. I think it was
without a doubt. And if there is a way for you to watch Raging Grace over the next few months or anytime you can, then definitely check it out.
We'll be sure to share it. So if you're following us, if we find out that it's screening elsewhere, hopefully they will see a proper cinematic release because it deserves one. But if not, I imagine this should be a great film to catch up on whatever channels eventually pick it up. There's got a lot of Film 4 energy about it. If you listen to Film 4.
Film 4, come on, Film 4, get involved. And then obviously we did an interview with Jake West after the screening of Mancunian Man. I've seen that, so I guess I'll chat about it. It is a very British, unconventional documentary about a man who had something of a film career, a storied film career, but in very low budget films in Manchester in like the 80s and 90s. He was an action star. And yeah, it's it feels like a very personal film. A lot of the people involved were there at the screening as well, and you can see it was quite an emotional experience for them
to be sort of witnessing it on the big screen, and afterwards when they were milling about, they seemed very not overwhelmed, but very.
There was a lot of smiles.
A lot of smiles.
It was like looking in on a group of old friends that have got such a history and a story together.
Because
I
I
was
think-
only there for the Q&A, but it was.
Yeah, because I think watching any film on a big screen, it probably would evoke that. But watching it on the IMAX screen, I think it just makes it feel like the next level.
If
It's
you've, not
almost
seen-
like
if you've not ever been in a screen this size when you're listening to this, it is unbelievable, unfathomable.
it's
even just
unfathomable.
Like a
I think
normal
I'm like kind of getting used to it now. But maybe for the
Like
first
how bad?
2 films we watched, I was like, this is absolutely unbelievable. My neck hurts. I don't know where to look. And the sound is just kind of overwhelming in a way. I keep using overwhelming to describe things, but I do honestly feel like that sometimes. It's not necessarily a negative thing either.
You're not just going to be whelmed for days after this.
I'm feeling pretty whelmed right now.
Just the
entirely
amount of
whelmed.
but no, overwhelmed right now. You get
Overwhelmed.
that.
And what's on the agenda for today?
Before we do that, one more thing that was scheduled
Oh, sorry.
yesterday. We caught the screeners of this one. We weren't able to see it live because of scheduling conflicts, but Piper also got its screening here yesterday. People will recognise Elizabeth Hurley from that one, of Bedazzled fame.
Well, Bedazzled fame and also Austin Powers fame, and the fact that Heather Graham was in the opening movie of the festival, Suitable Flesh, made me and Andy come to realise that Austin Powers' love interests are the common theme of this festival.
There are 2 films we're still left to see. Beyonce could be in one of them. I've not checked. But the film itself, it's not DJ Pied Piper of Loving It, Loving It, Loving It, Loving It Like This.
Billy Piper?
It's not Billy Piper, not Swindon's
Honey to
Greatest
the Beat?
Sweetheart. But it is. I mean, Melinda Messenger, sorry, not a Melinda Messenger erasure-ist, but it's not about Billy Piper either. It is about the OG Pied Piper, the one of Hamlin fame. You know,
Hamlin
gets rid of your rats problems, but then just pay your contractors properly, Hollywood.
Yeah. Or
but
the film's not about that, right?
It's him. It's the Pied Piper, but it's not about the story of old. It's a modern day setting where there is a curse of like a Pied Piper character who is drawing young people away to their deaths with his hypnotic music and curse. And there's rats to be had there. It's got like a folk horror story to it. It's got like it has like supernatural elements to it. It's got like a young love story in there as well. Some interesting things going on. Yeah, for me personally, like it was very strange. I think some of the characters portray some of the bits of Germany, a country I consider to be very modern and normal, and probably has better food than here. Okay, this German. It's not like
Bloody
that at all.
German food.
Yeah,
Sausages everywhere.
It's not like that at all. Germany would have been there. Very lovely. But you know, those things aside, it's a fun movie. It has, if you like that, if you like a folk horror, you like some supernatural elements, some ghost stories to it. There's things to enjoy there. But that was
our roundup of day four. Was it day 4?
Day 4, apart
Day
from
4?
things you already did. It's a rich tapestry.
It's a rich tapestry,
today.
yeah. So on day 5 now, final day. Here's the brief preview for that. My Mother's Eyes, opening film with Takeshi Kushida, obviously, who's been on the podcast, interviewed, and already on this episode, talked to him about how he feels before the screening. We'll be catching up with him after the screening for that. The film Good Boy, we're going to talk about as well.
Yes, Good Boy later on.
But we are going to jump into a screening of Founders Day as well, which another one I don't really know much about. I've not really looked into what the crack is.
American history, I presume.
Yeah, I guess it is American history. So yeah, plenty more to enjoy and plenty more interviews to bring you as we wrap up the final day. How are you feeling though? Are you feeling tired? Are you feeling energized?
I've still got the energy in it, Ben. We're gonna bring it home.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I could do it if there was another day, a sudden day 6. I don't know if I could, but we're getting through it. But in a good way, it's great. I can't think of
really good. We're gonna catch as many more people as we can today as well to round this out. Goodness knows what length this episode is ending at. I hope you've enjoyed it, but we'll wish you those good thoughts again later on at the end.
Hello, I'm here with Takeshi Kushida mere minutes after My Mother's Eyes was screened on the IMAX screen here at FrightFest. So yeah, congratulations.
Oh, thanks so much.
How are you feeling after watching it with a huge audience?
Yeah, very excited, of course, and I'm glad I could have a lot of questions in Q&A.
Yeah.
And it's so different from watching the film on IMAX.
How did it feel seeing it? Because what would you say is the biggest screen you've seen it on before? Because this is
maybe quarter size.
one quarter of the size we just watched it. So yeah, I mean, obviously I'd seen the film before, but seeing it again in IMAX, I it was a completely different experience. I learned so much more about it, and as one of the questions we had just now was about sort of like the sound design. Obviously, music is very important in the film, but the sound design was insane. And we sort of already mentioned it feels like watching an ASMR video. It was almost like relaxing in a way. So much of it kind of puts you at ease. So that I think that's what makes the final scene so effective. But yeah, in terms of the sound design, squishy eyeballs and everything like that. I mean, what was the process behind that?
I didn't record any sound when I was filming. So every single sound was added in the sound recording studio. And yeah, it's very interesting. It's like giving life to picture when I add sound. So I like adding the sound to the picture, and that's maybe the most enjoyable time for me.
Oh, really?
In filmmaking process.
I see. So that's when you feel like you're really having fun.
Yeah.
When he's adding the sound. Also, another thing that was sort of brought up before, when we were talking about the sound and the sound mixing and everything like that, it was also said that 8 days was the shoot.
Yeah.
8 days, which kind of feels insane because after watching that film, it feels like a huge labor of love, and it feels like there's so many thematic ideas, revisited ideas, things that kind of cross over, and then I mean, you could spend hours and hours trying to dissect some like what that film meant or like it as an audience member. So 8 days. I mean, that must have been was it a really intense 8 days?
Yeah, really intense. We start filming at 8 and finish film until 10 p.m. But everything is storyboard.
I see.
So it's like we don't have an argument on shooting site. Just do this, do this next, do this next.
yeah. That's good. Well, again, congratulations, Takeshi. Obviously, it's been a pleasure spending some of the front. We've been spending some time with Takeshi as well over the last few days, which has been great. Which is I'm really amazed by that. Obviously, the fact that we were speaking on Zoom when you were in Tokyo mere days ago, and now we're here in London and spending time together and drinking together as well. Which has been fun. It's been a great experience, and it's been great to meet you. So thanks very much, and again, congratulations, Takeshi.
I'm here with Catherine Curtin, straight off the back of seeing Founders Day here on the big screen, the IMAX here at FrightFest. Catherine, what a performance! I loved it. You were
you're very
such
kind.
a great character in it.
Thank you.
I reckon some of the best lines.
I did have some of the best lines, and I think that also why they let me lean into the bizarreness of the character, because some of the lines were just so kind of strange and iconic that allows you to take a little more license. You know, I wasn't playing the most realistic thing, and I really enjoyed that, and I really enjoyed Hara for that Hara just lets you, it breaks the rules, and I like to break the rules, and I just like to see how far you can push things. And in Hara, in this genre is so open to being pushed. It's really it's a great genre for the moment that we are living in after COVID, after all the financial crisis, after everything where people are right now. I think this is a great genre.
And the political spectrum.
That is a horror comedy.
Yes.
Like our political spectrum is just a horror comedy. And so I think we need this to sort of say, yes, you know, it answers the call.
And, you know, if any of those folks from the streaming services are watching, give Catherine a detective series. Come on. What are you doing in those boardrooms? Wasting your time is what you're doing. Get Catherine on for a horror series, a horror detective.
A horror detective.
Yeah. Like a police procedural.
Oh my God.
Character.
It'd be so good.
Imagine the crimes.
I would love it. I would love
I'd
it.
be tuning in.
I would be
Thank
tuning
you
in.
so much,
Thank you so
Catherine.
much.
Have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Hello, we're here with Erik, Bloomquist, and Carson, director and writer of Founders Day, which we've just got out of the screening for. How was it seeing on absolutely a huge, massive screen like that with an audience?
It was incredible. I mean, we've been living.
You can hold it.
Yeah, we've been living with it for months and months now, and getting to see it in this setting is how it's supposed to go. So we had a blast.
And the audience's reaction was all correct and exactly what you expected.
Yeah,
or better than that.
There were a couple of it's not a comedy, but there were a couple of laugh lines, and there was one that we were hoping would hit, and it definitely hit.
I think I know exactly which one it was.
We actually got some claps too, which was very. I don't know if, who knows if it'll ever happen again, but it got it here at FrightFest. So.
Yes. So this is just a second screen. And do we know when the film's going to be available for wider audiences?
Not yet, but we should know in the not so distant future what's going to happen.
And I mean, in terms of a slasher movie, I did tell you this before, and I do mean it. I'm not just saying it because you guys are here. It was better than the last two Scream movies, way more satisfying, I think, the slasher genre, which you guys are happy with that piece of news. I'm sure you've been told.
I'm happy you liked it. I'm very happy.
I mean, I'm not throwing out any other filmmakers under the bus.
I know. Totally. And Scream is very much our roots. So I mean, I think our love for slashers happened when we borrowed Scream from the library in like 2005, and we just watched it on a cold winter afternoon or something, and it was like
it struck a chord and really just kind of introduced us to a lot of the films that it referenced too, and we sort of were able to kind of dive into horror through that. So we love that. We love this being its own distinct slasher.
It is definitely distinct. I think that's one thing to take away from it. It's very distinct, and it goes one direction and takes you in another direction. It's very unexpected in places as well. Where a lot of slashers are very formulaic, I feel like this just completely subverted that. So that's what I agree. That's what I enjoyed about it. So congratulations.
We want to give you the stuff that you love when you watch a slash movie and like that autumnal warm feeling, but we want to, have some surprises for you too.
Yeah. There are plenty of surprises, definitely. So thank you very much, guys, and congratulations again on the movie. Enjoy the rest of the festival.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Hello again. What are we talking about now?
We're going to talk a little bit about your good friend Takeshi's film, My Mother's Eyes. We've now seen as we're finishing our last day here. So, what do you think, man? Like, I think one of the most imaginative films of the festival, sure.
What can I say? It's one of those films that I'm glad I got to see again on the big screen, because a lot of the sound design from when I saw it beforehand, it didn't translate well. Sure, I understood it, but I didn't see it on the big screen made it mean so much more to me, and I think that's what. And so much of the subtext, I think with a second watch sometimes is where you really do start to understand some of this subtext and how it works and how visually he does it. And the fact it was 8 days, I know we spoke to him about that. An 8-day shoot shows he's obviously very, very good,
focused, efficient,
and good. And like he said, it was all storyboarded as well. I mean, wow!
You must have been
amazed.
so well organized to actually achieve that in such a short amount of time.
The fact that we've managed to spend some time with him as well, like really down to earth, lovely guy. Yeah, it's been amazing to get to know him, as well as
I have found that of everything that we've seen where we had the opportunity to speak to people, though. Like, I think I've come away with a better appreciation of what they were aiming for in the films, what their vision was, like some good insights into what the creative process is, so much more than I'd see from reading the IMDb trivia. And it's nice to meet people that you like and you strike to good people that are making the entertainment that we've just consumed. And I'm not sure whether that's going to make me a better or worse film critic, but I've had a lovely time.
That's the thing, yeah. I mean, in the same way that when we watch it, we spend a whole episode talking about a film, and at the end we're like, I'm going to give it a higher score than perhaps I would have at the start. It works in the same way that when you meet the filmmakers, you experience them on a big screen, you see the sort of the joy that surrounds everybody who's involved in it. It kind of makes you appreciate the whole process a little bit more, and it makes you just go, well, for me, I'm going to give that higher score. It's not all about the scores, of course, but that's what I kind of want to do.
I mean, we're allowed to be all about the scores, because, we're not legitimate critics. We're just doing our thing, hanging out.
I hate to say it, Andy, I think we're legitimate crickets. We're legitimate crickets. I can do it with my legs. And now we're legitimate critics now.
Hello again. We are still here at FrightFest. We've just got out of seeing Founders Day, a really interesting and fun slasher movie. And who did we happen to run into? Friend of the show, I think I could say, Janine Pipe. Hello, Janine.
Hello.
How are you?
Great, thank you.
You were there at Founders Day as well?
Yes, and good job you said friend of the show, because before there was a bit of a problem where I was just like an associate.
I mean, I could have led, but friend of the show is the lowest of your credits. Now,
co-producer now.
Co-producer, up-and-coming filmmaker. You're doing so much exciting stuff, and we're going to come to it. For now, we'll talk about, though, what did you think of Founders Day? Did you enjoy it?
I really liked it, yeah. The only thing that got me is I worked out quite soon who it was.
I had some ideas. I was saying to Ben earlier, thankfully there's no negative marking scheme, so I had a couple of wrong guesses.
Like in Cluedo.
I did get one at the end. I was like, yes. Ignore the 2 times I got it wrong, but now I've definitely got it right.
I thought it was really good, yeah, definitely.
And it had some good comedy to it. No spoilers here, but yeah, like has some good comedy to it. I really liked the characters as well. Like, I feel like I will be able to recall them later and say, oh, this is the film with that in it. But with others, there are ones that you're like, who is everyone apart from the killer and the main?
Definitely. And the teacher, I swear, was the dad in Boy Meets World.
I'm gonna have to look that up. Getting those
random knowledge.
Getting those fan castings in. So you're having a good festival. I know you're just here for the day, right? On the day pass,
Yes.
but
Yeah,
making the most of it in one day.
Yes, meeting as many people as possible. Lots of people have come up and said hi, and I've been like, hi. No idea who they are, but it's always lovely to meet people.
Well, and because, like, I'm guessing lots of people know your face and everything because you are deep in production. I mean, we have your short film, which is on the horizon. It has had a couple of screenings, right? At some events, right?
Yes, it has had one screening down in Portsmouth, and it's on the festival circuit at the moment.
We hope to catch it before the year is out if all things fall into place. But I'd be remiss not to have you here and not to bring up Footsteps, because you've got such an exciting cast lined up. I know you're really excited about the script and everything as well. I'm personally super excited to see you putting it together. So tell us, how's it all going?
It's going really well, thank you. Neil's here, Neil Marshall at the moment, so I'm spending some time with him. He's the executive producer. We are shortlisting at the moment and going through shooting schedules, things like sorting props, all that kind of stuff. So got a table read this weekend as well with one of the actors. So yeah, just going really, really well.
I'm so glad. I mean, Amber came and joined us. That was your last bit of casting you announced, right? So
yes.
Amber came and joined us just when Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey was out. So Ben interviewed her back then. She is so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see it. And then Annabelle, I'm a big fan of from things like Eating Miss Campbell and so on as well.
Yes,
So
and she's in her as well.
She's in
so
her, yeah.
She's a reoccurring cast member for me now.
Oh,
She was here this morning, so I managed to quickly
oh
say hi to
really?
her with Chris.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, so much exciting stuff. I can't wait to. I mean, I won't hold you to this timeline-wise, but you plan to be filming later this year, early
So
next?
we're filming in October.
Perfect.
And the big hope, the goal is to show here next year.
Amazing.
That's what we would love to be able to do. So,
Well,
yeah. So here is a guest this year. Next year, we'd love to be here as a director.
well, we will hopefully be here too to interview you as a director if all things go well. And in the meantime, of course, we'll put all the positive, not mean, pressure we can on the deciders that this is a film we want to see over here. So, yeah, always around to. And if you listen to the show, obviously we'll keep you updated as the news comes along. If you're not already following Janine, you should be, because she has far better consistency on social media than I certainly have. Janine, where's the best place to follow you these days? Because social media is not what it used to be.
Not what it used to be. So I'm still most active on Twitter.
Continue using that name.
Yes.
That's what I would do.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's always going to be Twitter. Same as I'll always get UGCs from Blockbuster.
Yeah.
It's never going
That's where
away.
sells them.
Yeah. Or Instagram, and they're both Janine Pipe 28.
Yeah. Do get that one followed, because you're so good at sharing what the progress has been on Footsteps. Always really good to keep up to date with it. So yeah, can't wait to see more. Thank you so much, Janine. I will let you get to the rest of your many meet and greets for the day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Doing. Yeah, I keep directing directors, and I've really got to fucking stop that. If you ever, basically in the dictionary next to Rockstar, there's a picture of Aaron Truss with his Led Zeppelin t-shirt on, sunglasses, and he's punching a dart, and he's hung over. Sorry, mum. Sorry, mum. All right. That one drag was 3 hours off his line. No,
Yeah, it's gone now. Yeah, I don't know whose this is. I'm just going to hold this for a second.
This is Aaron Truss, the director of Pareidolia, which is having its premiere at FrightFest. Short film showcase number 3. I mean, an hour away. About that.
We are. Yeah, we're just. I'm just under an hour away now. So
yeah,
this is exciting stuff.
How are you feeling?
You know what? I'm actually feeling better to have met you in the flesh now. After so many years of just seeing each other on a Zoom and stuff. And Andy, of course.
I know, it's amazing to do it, and it's been amazing to do that at the festival. I think that's been my favourite thing, is just meeting everybody that we've had on the show previously for episodes and interviews. So it's awesome, man.
Thank you. I just want to point out, I'm wearing sunglasses because I'm incredibly hungover. I'm not doing it to be cool or anything like that. I'm not a star. I'm just incredibly munted right now.
Did you just say munted?
I've got munted, yeah. Is that the first time someone says munted on your podcast?
Maybe the second.
I am munted.
If you were wearing sunglasses just because you're cool, though, I'm not going to judge you for that. You know, you got a film showing at the IMAX in Leicester Square. So,
not the IMAX. We are the super screen.
The super. It's the same thing, right?
Well,
it's the same
Jake
thing.
West was IMAX last night, which was incredible.
Yeah.
You were there for that.
Yeah, and we spoke to him.
Yeah, no, he's absolutely brilliant. I love Jake. He's absolutely
Oh,
incredible. And it was a great film as well. I'm going to put it on the record. Mancunian Man was the best film of FrightFest. So thus far.
There we go. Look at that. It was amazing, wasn't it? Like
it was
just
absolutely
it was fascinating, I thought.
So I'm talking about his film and not our film now.
What about your film then? That's what we want to know about. So
Jake.
We're here with like cast and crew and everything. So we're going to pull some people in and chat to them. Some famous faces as well, right?
Yeah, we do. We actually have today flown in from America, Sandy Johnson from the original Halloween movie, who I'm going to pass you over to because she'll have far more interesting things to say than I will. So
Judith Myers herself.
Can
you believe that?
And she plays a small role in our film, and more of a cameo, a radio DJ.
Yep.
And it's more of a little nod, a loving nod to Halloween and John Carpenter in general. So
sweet. Amazing. Well, let's go in. Let's go and chat to Sandy then, yeah?
Perfect.
Let's do it. So we're here with Sandy Johnson. Judith Myers herself. I can't believe it. Oh my God. I'm excited. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. This is amazing.
So you're feeling amazing. That's great. I'm glad to hear it.
Amazing. This is so fun. It's so much excitement, so much great energy. I love it.
I know. It's kind of chaotic though, isn't it?
Well, chaos is fun. There's
Chaos can be fun.
organization in chaos.
Of course. Yeah. So tell us a bit about your role in Pareidolia, the short film, how that came to be.
Right? I play Janine Myers, who is a late night DJ. And so
Who decided on that character name? Who decided on that character name?
probably Stewart Morris would be my guess. Maybe Erik does, but
Yeah.
it's a perfect play on names. And they wanted like a kind of a sexy, sultry DJ.
I see.
So that's what I do. I kind of talk people as they're driving around at night in their cars or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Amazing. So are you excited to see it on the big screen with everybody as well? So that's going to be exciting, isn't it?
It was so exciting to meet the cast because I shot it from Texas. And so
Right.
now we in London.
Yeah.
Premiere is very
And I guess
exciting.
meeting everyone who was involved for the first time as well.
I did. I got to meet all the cast.
Wow.
And I've been wanting to meet Stewart forever. And so we finally
course.
got to meet. So, and
Yeah,
and
feel
of
free to
course-
come in as well, Stuart. Feel free to come in as well. So you two met for the first time. When did you meet?
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
In person, but we've known each other now, what, 3 years? Saying,
Felt like we argued
Oh, I
with each other,
see.
but we just actually finished it.
yeah, Sandy did, during the first lockdown, Misty Moon went online and we did Zoom. And Sandy was one of our guests, so we did like podcasting. But yeah,
amazing.
And this is the first time yesterday, and she's spending a couple of days with us down in Robertsbridge tomorrow.
Lovely.
Where we filmed Pareidolia.
Oh, so where you filmed this, you get to see where every scene took place and everything like that. And in the cottage as well, yeah? Amazing. Well, I hope you guys are looking forward to it. I'm sure you are. Super excited. The countdown is on, merely an hour or so away now, right?
Yeah, you can't wait. Actually, you can't wait.
Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy the rest of the festival.
Thank you,
Enjoy your time together in London as well. Thanks so much. We're here with Sarah of Horror, and you come all the way from Sweden.
Yes.
Yes, for FrightFest. Can you believe it? So, filmmaker, YouTuber, social media star. You say that? Yeah, let's say that. Let's say that. And obviously, we bumped into each other, and we thought it'd be good to get like a little video to talk about your favourites of the festival so far. You were in the screenings of My Mother's Eyes and Founders Day with us. Have you got any like particular favourites that you've seen so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think the best one for me is definitely Farang.
Which one, sorry?
Farang.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the guy who made 40 Years, Xavier James.
Yeah.
His newest film.
Wow, okay.
That was amazing.
We didn't see that.
It's kind of reminiscent of the Raid movies.
Yeah,
and
I
the
heard
fighting
that.
Sequences amazing.
Hmm.
And because the guy who plays the main character is a kickboxer in real life.
So
and it shows.
So I'm
I mean,
assuming like the action must have been amazing.
it was amazing and it was brutal, and just the fighting sequences were so smoothly done.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Oh wow.
And I also really liked Suitable Flesh.
Yeah,
And I really like, Stewart Gordon homage films and the H.P. Lovecraft take and Barbara Crampton, of course.
Yeah.
Really like the story.
Yeah, that was great.
And also the Blue Rose.
Oh,
Blue
okay.
Rose,
Oh,
really
missed
good.
that one as well. I feel like all the ones everyone's recommended to us are ones that we've missed. So.
I mean, if you really love David Lynch, then you will love
Oh,
the
really?
Blue Rose.
Okay.
Yeah.
We need to check these out then, if that's the case. I mean, that's the thing. Another good thing is that the ones we've missed, now we're going to go and actively seek them out, which is good.
Well, I missed quite a few as well because you can't watch them all because they're,
Yeah, it's simple. It is literally impossible to watch them all.
It is.
And then just before we started recording, you said you did enjoy Founders Day
I
as
really
well.
enjoyed it. Yeah, I thought the kills were very creative. The characters were fun. You cared about some of the characters really much, actually. So,
Yeah.
So it was a fun watch.
That's true, yeah. It was a very unique slasher film, wasn't it? Definitely had its own identity. Amazing. Well, thanks so much for taking a few minutes out to talk to us. Great to catch up and great to meet you as well. So.
Thank you for having me.
No problem at all. You will have to, and again, we are saying this to everybody, you have to join us on the show. Come and join us and talk about a full episode.
It's a promise.
There we go. Amazing. Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you.
So hello there. Once again, just here from off the back of a number of FrightFest screenings. I'm here with David, a member of the press also covering the FrightFest event, right?
Yeah, I've been coming since 2017.
Wow, so a number of years under your belt. And what makes you come back every year?
Well, the press pass, but also I love the experience. I love meeting the actors, the filmmakers, catching up with my friends, a friendly atmosphere. No one's judgmental. You get to watch horror films on the big screen 5 days straight. You'd have to be insane not to come down to FrightFest. I think to miss out.
I mean, and it's been an incredible experience. So, I'm going to ask you maybe the hardest question that we can ask anyone. What have your favorite films been? Can you pick just one favorite?
How to Kill Monsters. And I'm not just saying that because I received a special thanks in the credit. So I thought it was hilarious and gory and had brilliant practical monster effects and brilliant twists and turns, laugh out loud humor. I definitely recommend it.
I won't argue with you on that one, David. And then, with your press coverage duties, how many films did you get to watch? Is there anything that you were sad that you didn't manage to see?
I try to see as much as I can every time I come, but I'm going to carry on coming to FrightFest until I die. You can't get me away from FrightFest. There's no stopping me from coming near.
That's so good. I'm glad to hear it. And I think this was our first time here in person.
Yeah.
But I think you'll see us here again.
Yeah. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, David. Thanks for coming over.
Thanks very much.
And that's all she wrote, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow. Can you believe it? This is the end. This is the end.
The end of the road.
The end of the road.
FrightFest. I've done it wrong.
FrightFest. It's going to be FrightFest again.
All weekend.
They're just showing off because your microphones are way bigger than ours. Your microphone.
Yes, get stuck in.
Where'd you get that one? We've just been accosted in the street.
We've been accosted by Sarah and Amber, right? Chloe.
Oh, goddamn! Start again. Right. We've just been accosted in the street by Sarah and Chloe. Content twins, we are. Yeah, we're just roaming the street, just interviewing people.
They're burning people by putting them on the spot with some complex questions. I won't spoil their content. You should find out their channel, which is called
There we go. Perfect.
We're talking about horror movies. We've been covering the FrightFest Horror Film Festival. You've been busy doing other things, but scary movie fans?
Yeah, I love scary films.
What's your favourite? There's no wrong answer.
I like the old ones, like Friday the 13th, like Freddy Krueger.
Thank you so much for saying an old film that actually was old. Because I love really old ones like It Follows. I would have turned to fucking dust.
I really like old films like Scream. That's a classic, isn't it? Sarah, what about you? Do you have a favourite scary movie?
I don't know. I quite like tiny zombie movies.
Yeah.
That horror.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I love the way Chinese people and Asian people make films. So I like horror movies.
It's an absolutely fantastic answer.
I don't like ghost films.
Yeah.
Too scary or boring? What is it you don't like?
They've got like bad energy attached to them.
You don't want to be cursed.
Literally.
Yeah, you're literally be cursed.
Yeah, literally bad energy.
Paranormal investigator.
That's a paranormal investigator.
His channel is Paranormal Boys.
This is amazing. This is fantastic. Do you like the movie Train to Busan with the zombies on a train?
I think I've watched that. Yeah. Is it the Asian one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I know.
That's what I thought you were gonna say
I think
when you said it.
Amazing. I don't think you're in shock for that whole thing, Andy. I'm sorry.
That's right, doesn't matter. You can still hear me. That's what's important. And thank you for giving us mic envy.
We've got mic envy. Size doesn't matter. Remember that.
Inadequate.
Size doesn't matter. It doesn't. But if you had two together, then they might be slightly closer.
Yeah, it's all right. Thank you so
Thanks so much. Bye-bye now.
Our wrap-up was just slightly accosted by some content creators asking us awkward questions about what were their best
They're trying to
and
put
worst
us on the
features.
spot and make us look like horrible misogynists.
But you know what?
I think we did all right.
I think I did all right.
You got her name wrong, but that was...
I mean, that's because I've learned so many names this weekend.
Yeah.
And she looks like... She could be an Amber. She comes in, my name's Amu, and so you fucking liar. Just so happened the name was Chloe, a name I've now remembered.
That's good. So wrapping up. Obviously, it's been our first FrightFest. It's been a great experience. We've met a lot of amazing people. No, definitely not. I'd like to come back every year if it's just as nice as this. And I'm not just saying that. I mean it. It feels like we were born to do this, right?
Yeah.
I think listeners and watchers on YouTube, if you like this content, if you like us the way we are currently, like, it's all pretty much live and kind of like a bit crazy
If
and
this is
chaotic.
stuff you enjoy, if you want us to do more events like this...
We'll still do standard episodes.
Oh,
Of
yeah,
course.
we can't be out all weekend.
No, we can't.
Can't be out every weekend. We'd get... Our families would leave us. We'd run out of money. But if you like this type of thing, do let us know. Let us know the things you've enjoyed about it.
Yeah.
Things you'd like to see us speak more about. If you have a look at the lineup and there are any films we didn't manage to cover because there's only so much you can,
Yeah.
let us know. We will continue to seek those out to cover them later.
Do it. Let's do something quickly. We need to pick our favorite of the festival so far. Again, we didn't see everything. I'm going to go for... Should we go for a top three?
Go on.
Okay, top three. For me, number 3, I'm going to have to go for Founders Day. I think it was a toss-up between Founders Day and Punch.
Yeah.
But something about Founders Day just really, really resonated with me. I find it was very funny, very unpredictable, and a great new slasher movie. Which is awesome. Number 2, I'm going to go for Raging Grace because I think it's a very powerful film. And in terms of an auteur putting their hands to filmmaking, considering that I guess was it Paris' first film? Was that right?
First feature.
First feature, so that's crazy. I think that's great. And number 1, of course, after seeing it for the second time, which I think just helped me understand it better than perhaps I did after the first watch, was Takeshi's My Mother's Eyes. Now, of course, I'm going to say that because we've been spending time with him, but also, my God, what an accomplishment. Well done, Takeshi. That's my number 1.
All right, so top 3 from me. Oh, I'd only planned 2 to mention, but let's throw out a third one real quick. So I think maybe for my third choice, I might go The Seeding. I was so surprised by it. I thought, now I've got a tie between The Seeding and Black Mold. For similar reasons, really interesting psychology, really amazing location choices and set design. The way the atmosphere comes from both of those movies, phenomenal. Joining you in second with Raging Grace, I loved it so much. Such a powerful movie, such an amazing message. In reality, it's really hard to rank these things. The one that wins out for me just above Raging Grace is just for the enjoyment I gained from it as a horror movie, as a piece of great entertainment, and a film that I'm sure I'm going to watch again and again. And that is How to Kill Monsters. I loved it so much.
Oh my
It's a
God,
very
yeah. Oh, shit.
Yeah, I had such a good time with it. But genuinely, I don't think I've stepped out of a single film while I've been here and thought,
yeah,
well, that was no good. I wasted my time.
And loads of things I've walked into and know nothing about. Founders Day, for example, I knew nothing about it. I just saw the title. So yeah, an amazing experience. And again, yeah, I think we should do more of this. I'd like to do more of it. And we couldn't have done it. Also, I do want to say this at the end. We couldn't have done it without help from our Patreons because that's helped in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I have to say that we are, despite the air of legitimacy that we carry, everybody, we are not a sponsored podcast. We are not working for any of the major publications. We are lucky enough to get some screeners from some of the production companies to watch in advance sometimes, which helps us cover more stuff. But we don't have sponsors. We're not paid. We paid for our tickets to be here.
Yeah, we did.
And well, we paid for it with a massive amount of support from the
yeah,
donations we get.
That's
via
how it
the
happens.
Patreon account.
So some people might get support from Patreons and be like, "Thanks for your support. This has really helped." This has absolutely, unbelievably helped. 100%. We literally couldn't have done it.
I think it's made a
without
difference
that.
allowing all 3 of us to be here, especially as well.
Especially Luke Kondor with a K.
It's made it far more affordable these things do not come cheap. We all live in different parts of the country, so it's been amazing. So thank you to everyone who supports us now, in the past, in the future, in advance.
You're not going to say, don't you?
Fabulous. So,
Thanks for listening, everybody. If you want to become a Patreon, follow us over on www.patreon.com/horror hangout. Thanks to Taj Yusuf for our theme music. Thanks to Acast for hosting the show. If you'd like to, someone just shouted someone at me then. Someone hates Taj Easton.
Not us. We love him.
So, what did she shout? I'm literally, she might have shouted balls. I've completely lost my train of thought now as well. So yeah,
so smooth as well.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Horror Hangout Podcast. You'll find us. Next week is episode 300. We haven't decided exactly what we're going to do. I think another sort of celebration episode, maybe a live stream, maybe something like that. Something where we're not covering a film, but maybe we're just going to look back on the last 300 episodes and maybe even just look back on this weekend.
Yeah, maybe
amazing that we've reached this milestone.
Maybe pick some favorites. Maybe we'll do 300 episode, the Horror Hangout Awards.
Oh yes,
Have we done this
I like
live?
how you
Have we just
spitball.
done
I like
that
how you
live?
spitball in the Horror Hangout Awards and you just thrown it out. Does that mean can I get one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, is it just going to be me, you, and imagine we're going to get you guys. Got to choose who the
Most
best host is,
episodes.
best guest. This is all not very nice.
No, nothing's like we're going to choose our favorite movies from several genres. We're going to choose maybe the top 3 films that we're both desperate to cover before we get to episode 400.
I'll tell you what, we've done awards for FrightFest episodes. Let's throw our FrightFest awards into that episode as well.
Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay.
See you next week for
See you
episode
next
300,
week.
everybody.